Meow. God. Set up so high. I just think I'm like 6'5" or something. God. Okay, let me just see if these headphones are working. Use you early birds as my test subjects. Let's have a look-see. Microphone is obnoxiously in my face. Goodness gracious. Okay, let me cast my eyes over to the browser. See how we're doing. See if I can hear myself. You heard me. Oh, brilliant. Made the same challenge before the industrial era. Incredible. Okay, let me just see if I can... I'm just gonna... Might hear it repeating. Okay, that's not too bad. It's not too bad. Yeah, actually, that's alright. I think that sounds okay. For a change. A little bit echoey, but I'll fix that. I'll try. I can't. Okay, good. Okay, all right. I'm just going to go and quickly, believe it or not, legitimately microwave my coffee. And I'll be right back with a headset and a different microphone and a confusing audio interface. I don't know how to work. But so far, so good. That's good. Okay, brilliant. All right. The timer is on. I've got 2 minutes to microwave my coffee, which is plenty of time. I'll catch you in a minute. Well, 2 minutes. Alrighty. Everything should be okay now. Maybe I pushed my mic too far. Hello, everybody. How are you? Let me just check. Okay, so we've got my microphone, but we don't have game audio. You probably want that, hey? Oh, dear. Alrighty, let me adjust that. Do a little bit of tweaking. Apologies. Now you can hear me, right? But rough around the edges. Might need to turn down that gain. It's just a bit nasty. You have to bear with me. I'm sorry. I am sort of using some new stuff today, and also sort of not really understanding how to work it. Well, no, that's not true. I've actually spent a long time figuring out how to use it. Let me just make sure. Okay, cool. Now I've got self-monitoring, so I can hear what I'm saying, which is always nice. Let's turn your game volume up. Boom. And jump back to that scene. Make sure that I've got your chat up. So the theme of the stream is talking about the new challenge that Amplitude issued. Super exciting. Super exciting is an understatement, actually. I figured today's session could be a little bit of a draft, kind of figuring out how it works, maybe gleaming some ideas off you, if possible, to try and a little bit of tweeting, to try and figure out a really good strategy here. I've put all the information for the challenge in the description, so if you want to know about it, it's down there. So there we go. JumboPixel microwaves coffee. That is true. Hello, everybody. Pete, Tink, Huck, who's well rested after a wonderful vacation. Random guy is here too. Voice is sounding crisp. I hope so. Yeah. I really do hope so. I've put a lot of money and time into trying to improve it. It's not quite perfect yet, but I'm pretty happy with how everything's shaping up. The only thing that I'm really unhappy with right now is that I can't get the game sound to you. That's a problem. It's the one problem that I've got left to solve. And to be honest, I am not sure exactly why it's mucking up. It looks like the... Oh... I think I have an idea. I'm really sorry, but thank you for bearing with me. I could probably talk a little bit about the challenge while I'm solving this, so that I'm not just, you know, being a moron. Humankind. Yes, I want you, humankind, to output to the audio interface, please. Where are you? Humankind to audio interface. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. I believe that should have worked. Let me jump over onto the game scene and we'll find out. Although it's kind of odd that it's quite odd. Something like, oh, what it does that output to I push the output of this to that as well. Try that. Okay. Don't think that worked. Oh my god. Maybe we should just jump to Twitch only or something so that I'm not bothering all you wonderful YouTube viewers. Top chat test. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, look like that worked. Oh my goodness. I will respond to you in just a minute. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that this game audio is actually pumping out the way it should be. So that you can very least hear me. I will also, okay, I think that's just canned everything. Actually, that was a disaster. Good God. Oh, I fixed it. I know what the problem is. Okay. 1 minute. I'm really sorry about this, everybody. What a disaster. We can either proceed without game sound. I can sit here solving technical difficulties for far too long. It is really frustrating. Here's my game mixer right here. Here's my humankind right here. Certainly don't want to do that. What if I just move it? Let's just get rid of it. Get rid of me. Am I right? Oh, hold on. Oh, what a stupid journey I'm taking you on this morning. I'll go there. Boom. Did that work? Oh. So if I have the humankind outputting to that channel, that should work. Let's see. Humankind? Oh my god, he did. Can you hear humankind and me at the same time? Am I a tech god? Elon Musk. Mark Zuckerberg, get in here. The Terrible 3. I think I did it. In fact, I can confirm for myself by listening to the stream back. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, woohoo! Aside from some repeating, we are there. Game, audio, oh my god! Oh, thank you, everybody. Although, do I sound like a robot now to everybody, or just me? And that is because I'm streaming the audio twice to you. Let me shut that up. Okay. Now, I'm streaming it to you once, and we should sound good. And you should have, when I click on this screen, game sound as well. What do you think? Is it working? Yes! Oh. Brilliant. Thank you for bearing with me, everybody, and apologies for the delays. Let me turn this game sound down because it's like... Actually, it's probably alright for you, though. I might turn it back up on your end a little bit, because I reckon on your end it's a bit quieter than screaming into my ears. Okay. Let me bring my chat up so I can see what you wonderful people are saying. And we can begin. Oh, yes. Okay, brilliant. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Let me just also click onto the right screen, set a little marker so I know to delete all this crap from the start of the stream. Thank you, early birds, for bearing with me. Some audio issues, but we are away and laughing with a different microphone, a different audio interface, and a whole load of other things. Cool. Okay. So, the theme of today's stream is the Push Humankind Too Far challenge. Before I begin, though, I do want to quickly acknowledge that I have been gone for a week. I fell on my back and I couldn't stand back up again. Like a beetle. Like an upturned beetle. Oh, hey, Browser on your Twitch account. Wicked. Yes, of course, we're live on Twitch and the YouTubes. And it looks like we have around 50 people tuning in. Today I am wearing headphones for the first time, which is brilliant. Got a new microphone as well, a new audio interface, and a f***ing awesome new tool to play with. Oh, I'm very excited to be here. But actually for two reasons. Many Humankind videos based on specific challenges. A more classical Let's Play series. I have a couple. I do have a couple of traditional Let's Plays, but I tend to preserve those for live streams, to answer your question. The way I see it is, why cut it down into lots of little episodes where I can produce it in one? Although I do acknowledge that there's a real appeal to a sort of edited, more fast-paced playthrough. I have a couple of those on my channel. Thank you for your question. And hello, Rocker Fanboy. How you doing over on Twitch? And on YouTube, hello, Trentius Dusk, Tink, Pete. I see some blue and green names shining through as well. And I believe there was a super chat that I didn't even acknowledge, like the rude little that I am. Thank you so much. Bartotsk Rdzepka? I'm really sorry about that pronunciation. I butchered that like the neighborhood butcher, but thank you so much for 25 PLNs. A top chat test, and I really appreciate it. Let's replay it for one more time now that the stream has actually started. There it goes. Brilliant. It's working. Did you hear the sound for it is another question, actually. And I can fix that if you didn't. Either way. Yeah, feeling good. We're back. 50 people, 18 likes onto YouTube's. and we're good to go. So, as I say, information in the description if you'd like to find out more. But basically, Amplitude issued a challenge. They issued a challenge to 6 creators, and I was one of them. And I don't know how that happened. Probably thanks to you, to be fair. So I'm really super excited to be part of the Push Humankind Too Far challenge. The challenge is basically on a map in here. Have a look at the map first of all. It is the Huge Earth by Oscar map. That's the one that they've issued the challenge against. The other rule set for the challenge will look a little something like this. So the map we won't be able to change. It'll be on Blitz pace. The difficulty won't be on town, but it might as well be. Ew, it's on nation. Competitors will be set to 10. There's likely some gaming here too. And then, like I say, the map is Oscar, and the spawn is either Egypt, Southeast Asia, or I forget the third one. The rule set is in the description. I can read it myself if I wanted to. Hey, Devilish! Thank you for a $5 super chat, you wonderful mad lad. Sorry, it's been a hot minute. How you doing? Devilish says, oh, Devilish says, are you ready for this? This is going to sound terrible, and I'm really sorry. Devilish says, hold on. Devilish says, Jonah, mate. Happy Monday! Sunday for us Americans. Excited to stream, like, sub, and chat to support the science cult and unalive the enemy. Amazing. Thank you, Devilish. And Trentius, not to be outdone, a few seconds ago also slashed one in. My God, what is going on? Trentius, thank you so much. Trentius says, we love you, Jumbo. May our beloved leader of the Olmec gang do well and show why he is the one to push humankind too far. I've been playing with fun voice tools. Did you like it? Yes, it worked. It must have worked. I could tell by your ludicrous reaction in chat that it worked. So that's great. One of my new tools enables me to change my voice. It's the benefit of having an XLR microphone instead of a USB one, essentially. I can do a lot more editing before it gets pushed through. And so I just thought, you know what? Why not have some fun and try out these things? So yeah, no, it's not on your end. I did wonder if that robot one would make people question that. Yeah. Nobody needs to be the narrator for the Humankind 2 trailer. Marty. But seriously, Trentius, thank you for a frickin' 30 orange Canadian polite super chat. I really appreciate it. Let's have a good time and see if we can push Humankind too far. I don't think I'll be playing as the Olmecs in this challenge, but we'll see. So what I'm going to do is today is kind of just play around a bit. This is not my official attempt at the challenge, but I'm going to put the rule set in. And I'd also like to bounce some ideas off you as we go through. I have a strategy already. Amplitude have said to us that we should probably play a builder every time. I note Dr. Kane's suggestion around stability. Joe early on. I think there's also a role for a scientist culture to get some pollution technologies earlier. And I like that a lot. There was a suggestion in my video today where I announced the challenge, which was a fun video to make. I did actually use an audio effect at the very start of that video. It was the first time I tried it, and my god, was it f***ing brilliant. Look, anyway. So I think there's some value in probably going full builder with maybe a science at the end. Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see. But either way, let's draft through. Let's have just a bit of a casual play around. See if we can pick up any strategies that I haven't already thought of or you haven't already thought of. And then, as I say in my pinned comment, my attempt to actually play this challenge is scheduled for Tuesday, April 12th at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So there you go, which is 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday in New Zealand for me, if anybody happens to be operating off my stupid time zone. Now, aside from the rules that I've already covered, and again, they are in the description, the main aim of this challenge is to burn the world as quickly as you can, starting from the industrial era. There is no limit on how long I can muck around until I get to the industrial era. I think that'll be one opportunity to min-max this. Another opportunity to get extra value, I think, will be in setting the AIs, right? Because as you may well know, let's see if I can pluck one of you out. Super Stevo? If it's seen Super Stevo in chat. Dr. Kane, I have. So Dr. Kane, aka Dr. Train, is an open, wary, vindictive AI, right? Who gets minus 20% land, air, and naval unit costs, and also plus 20% industry on all cities. Now, compare that to, say, default AI Persona 2, who has no abilities. So I think that there is potential here for some min-maxing. Basically, just choose a whole load of newbie AIs, right? Because why would you choose strong ones when there are no rules around who to choose? I mean, that makes no sense to me. PotatoMcWhiskey, if you're watching this, you already know this. So, and you're not watching this. But if any of my competitors are watching, I would, or listening, or their spies are in the chat, I would encourage you to do the same, right? Why would we want to face off against these experts where we can just find noobs? Here's one. Zing! I'm kidding. Get out of here, Huck. That was old Huck. That was actually the newbie Huck. Hello, Let Lucky. With 9 opponents, it'd be very tough to get builder culture often. Yeah. So this is the other thing. And Pete, as Pete rightly points it out, there's always going to be an element of RNG here, right? And what I could do is I could sit here for every hour of every day and keep playing and keep re-rolling until I get a perfect game. But for me, that doesn't really fit the bill. I don't know, like any one of us could do that, right? Any competitor could sit here in their own time and do it. Amplitude have said we don't need to stream the part before the industrial era. So like I could easily just sit here for the next week and re-roll over and over and over and over again until I get the perfect playthrough up until the industrial era. But I don't think that's really in the theme of the challenge. So I won't be rolling for perfection, but Pete's point is well taken. We do need to have some kind of backup, some kind of, if RNG goes wrong, if the AI declares war on me, if I lose a builder culture, there are loads of things that could go wrong during the official attempt. And we do need to have a backup. Question of Tinks changes everything? Which question? Builder to Carthage, to builder to science, to builder to builder. Yeah, science on before the industrial era, I think makes sense, doesn't it? Interesting take on Carthage. Maybe I'll have a playthrough with Carthage today.
Our universe
Someone to test the pollution levels of multi-district equipment. Yeah, and also there's that to bear in mind as well.
At sub-zero temperatures in a vacuum. Rather boring. However, on a small damp rock,
oh, that is an interesting. Yeah, that is a really fascinating question, Tink. So, I know that as we move through into the industrial era, I think that Amplitude said in their brief to us that industrial districts. Oh, this Egypt map is so different to the one that we normally play. Did I even? Is this even Egypt? You know what? It doesn't matter because it's a practice run, so we'll just practice. It's fine. That is a really good point. As I was saying, Amplitude said to us that when we move through to the industrial era, we can retroactively or retrospectively have, I think it was +8 pollution from makers' quarters and +3 from farmers. Tink raises a good point. What if a district counts as a farmers and a makers? Do I get the +11? I would assume so, but I'm unsure. Oh, good, Philo. Oh, good. Okay. This is literally just a playtest to have a bit of funsies and bounce some strategy off you. So, what would happen is, right, it's blitz mode. So the AI is going to choose their cultures almost immediately. I think if you don't get food on turn 1, you lose. See, like, here, look at this. I've already lost the Egyptians. I feel like you wouldn't, for some reason, the Olmecs, I feel like you wouldn't... Thing in my wardrobe just... Oh my god, that was terrifying. It was like the boogeyman. Okay, right, so so you probably just go, didn't get the Egyptians, see ya, new game, roll through it again. The settings, just to go over them if you are just joining us, these are the settings that Amplitude will require us to play for this challenge. Not the AI, but everything else is required. And the custom map has to be Oscar's huge Earth. And what a wonderful huge Earth it is. You can see I've got a million different huge Earth maps in here. I love an Earth map. What can I say? I do. Oh yeah, and actually, the one thing that I haven't thought about in my strategy yet, Tink, is what I'm going to do after the industrial era. In my mind, when I've been sitting on the couch at 2 AM eating a bag of chips thinking about this challenge, I've been thinking, you know, I'll probably go builder, 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 builder. Either builder or science. And then maybe builder Ethiopia or builder at the end.
Our universe contains
but I haven't put a lot of thought into them, actually.
Most of which are about rocks and ice.
Go North America for the lols. Yeah.
However, on another day.
Imagine. I mean, actually, that is a good point. And actually, why don't you decide? Why don't we poll it? Which start or the official challenge? There is some strategizing even in picking the start location, because you're going to determine whether you have neighbors close to you or not, essentially, right? I think the 3 that we can choose between are the Egypt start, which of course puts us in with a land border with Europe, right? Then we have the Southeast Asia start, which puts us close to New Zealand and Australia. And then I think it was the North America one. The North America start is the 3rd. That one is maybe like a better New Zealand, Australia. I lean towards the Egypt start because it has that land border with Europe that gives me the most opportunity to connect with other players early on and maybe destroy them, right? Because that's another thing I've been thinking about. What if I go through and just destroy people early on, and then literally just spend like 1 million turns until I move through into the industrial. It might be seen as a little cheesy, but there's no requirement to have moved through by a certain turn. The timer for the challenge doesn't start until I move through into the industrial era. So what if, and this is a little wild, but what if I throw convention to the waste, I just completely disregard everything and make it my mission to take over the world, the entire world, before moving through to the industrial era? That way, the entire world is mine. That's my alternative plan. I've basically formulated 2 plans. The first is kind of the one that we've discussed. Okay, this is the start that you want as well. Right, go through, build a science, beat the game. My other plan is, what if I could just take over the world? Because the game won't end until pollution ends it. The only end condition in this challenge is pollution. So I can, in theory, literally enslave the entire world before the industrial era. It's possible. It's possible. You destroy everyone. then you can't use them for further pollution. That's true, but my theory is that I'll be the best polluter. And so therefore, it makes sense that the entire world is mine because I'm the best polluter. Pump pollution and defensive capacities. Okay, looks like maybe that idea is just too dumb to work. Okay, so this would be the kind of start that I would want. Although, again, look, people are already choosing their cultures, so I guess you just kind of have to re-roll a few times. I'm just going to save this as our dumb test. Lol. Right. So this is what our dumb test... Oh, look, there's a wonder here. Yeah. So the dumb test would start like this. I think I would have to choose my culture this turn, otherwise I'd probably lose the Egyptians. So, I don't know, I guess I'd just be like, send this unit this way. Wow, there's that. We could actually fight a deer on turn 1 as well. That's always a good time. So maybe not enslave the entire world. World conquest early would allow me to spam cities. 15 polluting cities would be much better than the typical 6 to 8. My thoughts exactly, Pete. My thoughts exactly. The downside, I think, to the strategy is going to be that I wouldn't be able to build up a perfect polluting empire myself. But again, like I say, the timer doesn't start until I move through. So what if I just mucked around for ages? Because I can. I don't know. I'm really torn. I'm actually really torn on what the best strategy would be. But I mean, I guess the benefit to mucking around a bit on this map today is that I can just sort of, you know, take the mick a little bit. So this territory has a thingy, which could be tempting to settle on, but I don't think that would be a very good first settle. It probably wants to be like that one or something. Maybe even the central one. That one up there does look kind of juicy. Because this playthrough doesn't really matter. That way. Bounce you back that way. Oh, the Wander is actually impassable. Yikes. The only one... But if you're the only one building pollution districts, then you're the only one taking the stability hit from building the districts, and you can be... And you can only build one per city at a time. Not sure what you mean by the last part about you can only build one per city at a time. Pollution districts. I mean, that's true, but if I have more cities, then I can build them immediately. Yeah, the stability point is well taken. I'm wondering if I care about that at all, though. I could beeline the Civic that doesn't care about stability and then have no issues. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, I think that I'll probably play the Egyptians because they're good. So I think that just makes sense to play the Egyptians first up. Right? I mean, surely. Who's not choosing the Egyptians? Yes. Now, the other thing to consider is that there are side challenges. I've put them in the description. They also made a really beautiful infographic that when we're doing the actual challenge, I'll put it up on screen so that everybody can see the actual challenge and the points and stuff. And I'll remove maybe the like follower thing from down the bottom or something so that the UI is not too... can't even... What word am I trying to think of? I don't know. Either way, I'll put it up on screen, but basically they're also rewarding us points for side challenges, and Terentius highlights one of them. If you have no forests in your territory, you get extra points. But here's the thing to remember about these side challenges. They only apply to basically second place and onwards, because Amplitude have said that the winner will always be the person who burns the world in the least number of turns from when they cross over into the industrial era to when the game is ended by pollution. That will always be the winner, regardless of the side challenges, regardless of if you've built 10 coal power plants or whatever it was, or if you've chopped down all the forests. So, aside from the benefit of actually just chopping forests, which is always good, and helping with pollution, really, as far as I see it, you either go for the win, or you're mucking around with bonus points to try and get second or third. The prize for first, the winning creator will win 5 Humankind keys to give away and 5 Cultures of Africa keys to give away. That's what I want. There's also a Sega merch, I think it was like $50 or $100 for the Sega merch store to give away and for the creator, which is pretty cool. I'd love to rock some of that. So there's also an incentive for me to do well as well. But really, I just want those game keys. I just want those game keys. Really bad. Oh, cool, Tink. We're on the same page. We're on the same page. Okay. So there's horses here, there's horses here. That's pretty cool. This unit can't find one, so it can probably move to Sanctuary. And then I guess you want a unit sort of auto-exploring or something. I suppose. This one will burn. Oh my god, I'm actually really nervous because everybody else in the challenge is much better than I am. Or at least a few. Maybe I'm average, but I know that I'm not the best player in this challenge. I'm not a fool. I can see the writing on the wall. So I'm less min-maxy than some. I'm a little bit more sort of rip and bust. Just in general in life, but also in humankind. So I'm a little worried that my impulses will force me to play a bad run. But I really want to do well. At least a top 3 finish. At least a top 3 finish. Put me in the top 50%. Whew. Either way. I think in the actual challenge, I probably won't send 2 units down this way. I'd probably just try and explore this top area and then move into Europe.
By building an outpost, aiming to this easy.
Yeah, totally. The chopping down forests, Terentius is right, and it's something that I didn't even acknowledge, but the chopping down forests also has an innate benefit of just getting the world ready to burn. So I should keep a unit chopping forests the whole time. In fact, I'm going to start writing a cheat sheet. Okay, here's my pen and paper. All right. Number 1. 1 times chopper. Good. Oh, okay, good. Right, so I want to have a chopper. Not a lot of forest in this Egypt start, it's got to be said. Also, it would be really nice if I had 2 units around to fight some mammoths. So maybe, on my next cheat sheet, I also want to remember to have an army of 2. An army of 2 is better than 1. So I'll have an army of 2 and a chopper. And I also personally really like the idea of disbanding units early on. Although, if I have to move through and choose the Egyptians, I don't know if that's a goer. Now, the other thing to remember is that fame doesn't matter. I don't have to win the game on fame. All I have to do is burn the world quickly. So, I think that I can use that to my advantage and move through to cultures faster than the AI is moving through to them, so long as I've got all the districts that I want in place. I think there's a huge need for a little bit of population, but largely just like a load of industrial districts. This territory, it's got to be said, not very industrious. At all, actually. Is it? This map is so different to the Earth map that I usually play. The Earth map that I normally play is just like industry baby. This one, really different. Man, if I did the Egypt start, where do you even get your industry from? I guess you get it from like here, maybe. This spot. It's kind of garbage though, because there's no tiles on this side of it to connect until you connect that territory. Maybe you go there? This is an odd spawn. 59% of voters want me to go for this Egypt start in the actual game. Terentius was firstly a wonderful moderator, secondly gave a $30 super chat, and thirdly said, let's have a look at the North American start, lol. So I'd also like to just quickly have a look at that. As soon as we're just testing today, let's test it. Why not? Where is it? I don't have it. A little odd. Look on the store, in case you're wondering, how do I get this map for myself? We can actually have a look at that together. Extras, Unity, go map editor and accessmod.io. It's a bit weird because it says editor, but ignore that. This will chuck us in here to popularity, and then it's just wham bam thank you ma'am, that one right there. I'm already subscribed to. Americas has a new world, no start points there. Did I get that wrong? Just quickly check. Could be a slightly wrong download. Or a slightly out-of-date version, because there are so many versions to this map. My god. Oh, goodness gracious. But this is the one. If you're wondering, it's by Oscar. It's a huge earth. But you will note there are loads, like, look, like, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one, here's another. They're everywhere. Loads of different versions. This one must be a really new one. When was it uploaded? April 10th. Literally yesterday. But it was submitted by Ziggy. But named Huge Earth Oscar. You! What? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Thank you to everybody who's liked the stream. We actually have more likes than viewers on YouTube at the moment, which is outstanding. Holy crap, what was that? Oh my god. Jared, smart! The smartest! Woof! Jared, thank you so much for gifting, I believe, 10? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 subscriptions. There you go, Pilu. How about it? Oh, Jared, thank you for supporting the stream and supporting me and supporting the community and supporting my stupidity. All of those things and more, I really appreciate it. I really, really do. Seriously. Dude. Beyond words. Thank you. Nukes are banned from the challenge. Nukes are banned. We've got train stations, we've got aerodromes, we've got airports, we've got missile silos to pollute. Nukes are out of the question, but Pete is right. All of those other districts will work. Might be worth thinking about a list of pollution producers. I think it's actually largely just Maker's Quarters for the most part. Maker's Quarters and Farmer's Quarters in the early game, except for some specific districts. Okay, here's the Southeast Asia spawn. I feel like that's a bad one, but maybe it's brilliant. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think it's largely, at least from what Amplitude told us in their brief, it's Maker's Quarters. It will be able to give +8. Farmer's Quarters will be able to give +3, and then outside of that, they said just take note of emblematic quarters with specific cultures, because there may be some specific culture ones that can deliver more. That could be related to what Tink was talking about earlier with the crossover between having a farmers and a makers, or it could be unique to those districts. I'm not sure, but we'll find out.
Your tribe looks to you for leadership. Weight of
Let's have a look at the Southeast Asia spawn. I see forests, which is nice.
What sort of life?
I'm not sure about it, though. Let's see. A wonderful part of the world, it's got to be said. I should have probably moved north. Imagine being this much of a noob. So the AI will naturally choose, let's see, Nubian, Sarapians. Okay, so it is technically possible to move through an extra turn. I mean, I guess it's feasibly possible to move through all the extra turns if the AI doesn't pick a culture. But probably move north, hey? The terrain here. The trouble with this spawn is the terrain is so dense that I feel like if you don't get food on turn 1, you're, well, quite frankly, you're out of luck. And so it's just like me, like, re-rolling over and over and over. Obviously, I wouldn't do this for the actual attempt. I'd make sure that I had at least one. Ah, kia ora, White and Nerdy. Welcome in. Germany. Germany, another fairly reasonable pick. Probably. Tentatively. God. I like the idea of taking science before the industrial era. But if I want to go for a madman take over the world strategy, maybe I throw all of that to the wall. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, look at this. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Alliances. Power and
I don't think there are cultures that are necessarily more inclined to produce overall, unless their districts enable greater pollution. At least that's the case before the industrial era. I haven't delved into the post-industrial era ones too closely yet.
Sustenance, secure. Wonderful stuff.
Like, feel like that's not meant to look like that. There we go. Oh, look at that. See, so you just go through and you just lose them. Other alternatives for Era 1. I have heard Joe thrown around a little bit. I feel like it has to be the Egyptians. I really do feel like it has to be the Egyptians. I just want to also just sure, I know that the mods turn themselves off, but if I would hate it if I was playing accidentally with a mod enabled and then the whole thing didn't count. Okay, so that's the Southeast Asia spawn. And then the last one is... I actually think it was the Europe one. Hold on. Hang up Discord, make sure that I'm actually doing this properly. This freaking guy. Oh my god. Hey, thanks again, Jared Smart. You're just a legend and a scholar. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let me open up my message with Amplitude. Make sure. So, the 3 spawn. Oh, the prizes as well, if you're curious. First prize is indeed 5 keys for humankind, plus 5 cultures of Africa keys to give away. And also to give away to the community, one $50 Sega merch store voucher and one Sega catalogue key, which includes 150 of Sega's games, which is just absurd. So you should absolutely go and make sure that you're watching everyone else, because that way, even if I fail, you can still win that, right? You might as well. You might as well. Anyway, as I was saying, let me just see if I can glean any other insights out of here. Side objectives, we've covered those. Win condition, each maker's quarter can retrospectively add 8 pollution. Farmers' quarters can add 3. Trains, aerodromes, and airports are big polluting tools. They also go on to say that they suggest that we avoid creating a lot of units once we reach the industrial era, and to try and secure as many coal resources as possible, maybe through trade. They also note that city infrastructures are massive. The forge, the sawmill, the artisan workshop, these things add pollution to the world. They were really kind, gave us a little cheat sheet there, which was awesome. And the spawns, you are free to choose between Europe, Egypt, and Southeast Asia. So this poll is entirely based off false premises. Goodness gracious. I wondered why that didn't align properly. Okay. Sorry, America. It is, after all, the new world, I believe. So that makes more sense. So it's basically Africa, Egypt, Southeast Asia, or Europe. The real poll. Should I start? So actually, it's Europe is our next one. Sorry. I'm not sure if that will change a lot, although maybe it does. Let's have a look at this European start. I might play through this one as my test playthrough for the stream. Southeast Asia, more trees to chop. P-Draggy is right. Downside is exploration will be hard because the terrain's very dense. Upside is the trees will provide a lot of yield initially, and a lot of yield when I chop them. Egypt to Carthage. Interesting. Lots of people calling for Carthage, which was not my initial go-to. We take the science culture immediately before the industrial era and the early modern. I believe that's Joseon. And I believe I butchered that pronunciation. Yep, Huck, onto it. The poll is up. Thank you, Twitch. You can also vote. Oh, and on my little thing here, I can see the number of live viewers. I can see we have 20 people watching on Twitch and 30 on YouTube. Go you. Okay, so this is the European start. I've never played a European start on a True Earth map, so kind of see how that plays out. Another thing to remember if you're just joining us is when I do the actual challenge, the other thing that I'll change will probably be these AIs. Just to make sure that there we go, turn the Southeast Asian one off, turn the European one on. I'll probably change those AIs to try and get the nicest competitors possible so that we can have a good, fun, happy-go-lucky linking arms and skipping into the sunset game. science to rush the technologies for those infrastructures is great. The question is it? Is it actually great? Or is it better for me to just play through a builder the whole time and use the industrial ability of a builder to build a shite-load of science districts so that I can get the technologies, say, 2 or 3 turns later?
Most of which are about
That's my question.
Ice,
Will 2 or 3 turns actually be worth choosing a scientist culture and foregoing a lot of industrial preparation and missing out on the rival culture? Now, to put it into perspective, early modern era. Fine. Oh god, the early modern era. Imagine being stuck in the early modern era for 1,000,000 years while you wait to build pollution. So, I would be missing out on the Muggles. The Muggles have +3 industry per worker, +2 influence, +3 industry, and +3 industry per adjacent Makers Quarter on their district. Their trait is +2% industry per number of territories within my sphere of influence on the capital. So there's a big industrial multiplier that I'd be missing out on. But like you rightly point out, by choosing a scientist in that era, I'd be able to unlock the next technologies earlier. I just wonder how much earlier would I actually get them, and is it worth missing out on an extra industrial district? I feel like the answer is yes. I lean towards you being right. I really genuinely do. And I am too stupid to actually go in and figure out the really precise mathematics behind it. And also I wouldn't want to, personally. But your point's well taken. I lean towards the scientist being the best bet still. But I do just sort of think, is it actually worth it? Egypt start for the picturesque pyramid placement. Also, an important comment, Chang, we do have to make sure that that our world looks beautiful. Sure. Sure. Okay. So this is the European start. Where are we? Are we? Only one way to find out. Let's hit upstream. Boom. Gross start. Immediately gained. And then, of course, I would immediately move through and choose the Egyptians, most likely. So, just also save this one as dumb test Europe, lol. This is our dumb test Europe, lol. Very fun. This territory looks like a better starting territory than the Egyptian one because it has a better balance of resources. You move up here. I'm imagining this is testing my geography. I imagine this is Turkey here. And we're sort of moving up through Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, etc., right? I think that's where it's put me. But I live on a tiny little island in the South Pacific, so don't ask me what your beautiful world looks like out there. Okay, let's have a look-see. Let's move towards what I'm imagining is Western Europe over this way. Yeah, P-Drag is right. That also, I don't want to rush to unlock those anti-pollution technologies. I have to be very careful to sidestep around those ones. I do. Units are expensive for upkeep? Yeah, I suppose that's their logic. I don't know. I guess maybe their logic was just don't waste your time building units because you're better off building districts. It could be that. Oh, you're right. No, you're right, P-Drag. Yeah, I think that the scientist of the early modern is the way. Romania, Ukraine. Yeah, cool. I thought we were around sort of Turkey, Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, etc. Okay. And then I guess, I don't know. Like I say, this doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to move these dudes around. There's a reasonable start there. It's fairly nice. I mean, it's, you know, it's nothing to write home about, but sort of good enough. I don't think it would be possible to place an outpost up here. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. And then naturally I would choose the Egyptians, but somebody's taken them. I hate them. I actually hate them. I will, of course, for the actual playthrough, attempt to try and remove some of that from the equation. Roll back through again. North America and Southeast Asia if you want to moiter the ecosystem. I do want to moiter the ecosystem. It's got to be said. Fucking his damn dispensary ads. Oh yeah, you're right. It would be YouTube Premium that would remove ads from YouTube rather than membership. I feel like that's a... I feel like YouTube should remove ads for members. Come on, story. Either way. Right, so...
While your tribe
here's the spawn again.
Hallelujah!
We know how this works. You check in the AI. AI stole the Egyptians. Roll again. This would... Ludicrous. There is no rule around re-rolling during the challenge, but I feel like kind of lame to re-roll during. I reckon re-rolling at the start, obviously you re-roll at the start because you want the Egyptian. But once I start, I might just try and sort of roll through and see how it works. Oh, 2D Kitty. We'll do this Wednesday at 1 PM CET. 2D Kitty will be doing it a day after me. Story. Neat.
Most of which are about rocks and ice.
Love going first.
The future that you
no.
And
oh well.
Luck. Out of the raw stuff. Alliances.
Or you just get a garbage start like
danger,
this
power
and lose again.
You
Egypt start. I think I like the Egypt. Oh wow. Okay. Chat. Since we posted the new poll, everybody's saying do the Europe start instead of the Egypt one. Some 50% of votes so far on YouTube think that I should do, now more than, that I should do the European start. Sure.
Across the
Not a lot of love for the Southeast Asian start. Fair. It's a very densely packed one. You just roll that again and again and again and lose. I mean... What? I'm not sure about these AIs either. I like the top ones because they're noobs who have no promotions. I'm not so sure about the bottom one. Other ideas. I have a few other ideas, although I can't help but think that my take over the destroy everyone before Australia could work. Particularly if the Americas are a new world sport. If I start in Africa,
our universe
sweep up through Europe and just destroy, obliterate. I don't know. What I'm going to do now is have one more look at the East Asia start, and then I'll actually play through a little bit. I'll probably play through really aggressively and just bounce through cultures just to check. I don't know. Just to play test them. Let's turn European start off. Let's turn... What is that one? Low. What that is. The SES. Yep. Have one more look at this one. This one intrigues me. Egypt won. Let Lucky contributed 700 channel points on Twitch, but Egypt did win 75% to the vote. Doing my holy challenge goals. Oh, see you later, P-Draggy. Fair enough. I also haven't completed those. But I've got to burn the world. And lost all of last week. Disaster. Let Lucky with the democracy play. Okay, welcome back to Southeast Asia. I'm not sure exactly where the spawn is placing us, but I'm guessing it's perhaps somewhere around Vietnam. Probably. This could be northern Vietnam. Which actually means that we know that there'll be a wander around here. At least one. I reckon moving north up like this is probably the... no, it's not, because he's stuck by a... And loads of forests. Just play through it. If I don't get the Egyptians, I don't really care. I have a look. Okay, yeah. There's Halong Bay, the wonder that I was talking about. That is actually a really juicy card. You move down onto that river and get lucky and get a food there or there, and then settle this on turn 1. It could work. It's not terrible. Stepping up on this is terrible, though. What a debate! The only way down is the way that you step up onto it. Oh man, what a debate. Okay, I reckon. Watch me re-roll over and over again. Lol. Hey Zoe. Fresh start and you're here. Yeah, I thought, you know what? I'll just re-roll once just for you. So that's what I did. The most mountains and forests. Totally, Pete. Totally. I lean towards Southeast Asia likely being the most forested. So, I think the dream is something like step. Oh my god, he did. Step. Grab the food. Love it. Let's save this one. Now we've got one of each. Dumb, test. Yes. Asia. Goody. I'll know what that means. Right. And now, I guess you send a unit out to find Halong Bay. Hello! And then you probably send one down this way. Oh, or just all 3 of them. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Okay, thanks so much. Bounce one through this way. Oh. Yes. Yes. Go, you beautiful you. I like the start. Maybe I will go for Southeast Asia after all. I mean, to be fair, I've just got quite lucky with the food. Because look, now I've got another 4 units. Ah, Blitz mode. You never cease to amuse. Look, we'll bounce one over here. Grab 4 here. Love that for me. Bounce one over onto a river. Sure. I'm liking this a lot. And I know it's not quite a fair comparison. But that's a lot of food. That's a lot of dudes. What a start. Oh, jeepers. What's the bit the Egyptians are gone? Oh, I cry every time. Hilarious. See the RNG involved here. It's painstaking, actually. My god. Look at this. Now I've got 4 minutes. And they all run out and do their thing. Look, this one's found some more food. Maybe you don't need the Egyptians with a god start. Already got 15 units. Oh, goodness gracious. I wonder. A Great Joe start? Let's try it. Why not? When in Rome. Or go absolutely wild. Go Joe or go home. Let's give it a go. Down that way.
Ah, the
Love
challenges.
It. Okay.
Perhaps you don't really need
Welcome to the Joe era. Amazing. Mountains. Loads of good mountains. Look, there's a bloody brilliant Joe range in even this alone is not. Place one there. First territory, Halong Bay. Brilliant. There's a triple adjacency Really nice triple adjacency one there. There's a mammoth to fight. I have the gusto to take him down. Too weak. But more mountains, so I guess I'd just keep exploring. There. That way we're probably Oh, I'm actually only losing 4 gold per turn. Not to the world. The annoying thing is here I've got so many units to manage. Huge amount of pop for a great industry start regardless of the culture. Yeah. I wonder if Egypt's legacy trait doesn't matter as well. Because that's the other thing to consider, like... does that matter in the long run? It would slow down my builder potential by like, maybe, what, 20%? 10% at least? At least it would slow it down by 10%. Probably 20. But, keen to see how it works, so let's try. I actually think that probably most of these units would go back to the capital, like you say. Try and bring industry back this way. Also, forest choppers are going to be needed. Naturally. And then, I don't think many explorers are needed down this way, because as geography... Ooh. It's hunting season. Send 2 dudes down, destroy these guys. This is naturally a dead end. But there's a little bit of value to be harvested. Otherwise, though, I don't know. We don't have horses, which is a downside to the start. We do have copper, which is an upside, naturally. And I've got forested choppers ready to chop. My next take is probably going to be that one. So I like send a dude there. Wow, these headphones are so surround sound. I thought there was literally someone walking behind me. You could see my face. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of fun. Play this through. You can actually step on there and just turn and get me $10, which is very nice. Stability earlier, as Tink suggested. You're right, Pete. Joe Star, Joe's son, and why -4 gold per turn? Because I've got loads of units. It'll be my army upkeep. Yeah, -15. In fact, we're only so low because I have Halong Bay giving me $10 a turn. If it wasn't for Halong Bay, we'd be really poor. I think the next settle is like probably around here somewhere. Is the best Joe district. You would almost think it's that one, but it ain't, because that mountain's not within range. I think the best Joe district is actually here, which doesn't really matter for the starting location. I'll go slightly more heavy on food. Because we're gonna need food. I could fight that mammoth, but this unit up into the frozen wasteland that is Europe. Oh my god. What? Maybe the Jogo is the Jogo. It would be pretty unorthodox to start with Joe over Egypt, I think. Highly unorthodox. Lucky for you, I'm a big old moron. And I'm happy to play it out. Oh, okay, cool. Right, so this would become a city last turn. And then I guess you would go immediately Joe. Yeah. Immediately in with the Joe district, a nice industrial district, and not a food district because they suck. I can't chop down forests until we get carpentry. So maybe in this playthrough I go carpentry first. I feel like that suits the challenge. Let me know if I'm being an idiot, please. Whether you think you're a humankind expert or a humankind noob, your insights are always valuable. So if you have any to share, please do share them. Mountains and forests everywhere. My god, yes. Feed the city with bodies. I mean, Terentius is right, actually. Right? Get rid of this guy. Blat. Get rid of this guy. Blat. Get rid of this guy. Literally just everybody is going into Haojing. How about that? I do want to keep a chopper, but I also want to fight this mammoth. So I think these units could become the choppers, was what I was going to say before I got distracted. I don't like the fact that it's on high ground. Probably battle that a little bit better, but that's okay. Maybe it doesn't matter if if these units sacrifice themselves. It could. Let's bait it onto the low ground. Look at that pro gamer move. Wow. It's as if those tiles were put there on purpose. Okay, so that earns me just like a little bit of money. It's not the end of the world. Wonder if this chopper goes away too. I think it does. I think you get rid of all your choppers until you can actually chop. It's seriously next turn, so let's bring you back to be a chopper. I'll just insta-resolve that, because that'll be an easy win. Yeet! Use my ice state ability super early on to get extra influence, so that I can... Hey, yeah, there's an upside. Hey? Although we miss out on influence that we would get from Egypt's pyramids, so I don't know. Southeast Asia. And Joe are much more powerful than I considered. Me too. Me too. In fact, I would have never even tried this. Literally never even thought about it. My god, the acoustics are terrible in this room. I'm gonna fix that. But for the time being... So we start with this. We've got this territory, which will soon be ready to attach, and it will also need a chopper, so that's fine. A layer up here that I can destroy, and then I guess we just go and try and find some trade partners. Of course, I get my religion super fast, because we started with a lot of food. That's going to be really important for my overall yield. But not necessarily for the pollution aspect of the challenge, it's got to be said. I could also use my religion to leverage food into my cities, and then not build any food districts, is another thing that I was kind of toying with. Just rely on harbors for food and just say, yeah, who cares about farmers' quarters? They're a waste of time. We've got these wonderful fertile flatlands here in Eastern Europe. It's cool. Not great for industry, but there's a few forests dotted around. Plenty of mountains that we could make the Joe start work. Didn't mean to move all three of those. That's fine. In fact, we probably don't even need all of you this way, so why don't you just come back towards the city? We're going to need a few choppers. I think more than one chopper is probably the play, to be honest. Middle East, North Africa for later things like oil. Yeah, it's important. That's another thing to consider. It's not just the first era that I need to be thinking about. The key for pollution, as has been rightly pointed out in chat, will come much later on. It's those strategic resources like copper. What the f? It's the resources like coal and oil and those improvements like airports and factories in my cities that will really matter. Civics is something I've given no thought to.
Why was this?
It probably matters as well. Maybe the one that can reject the negative stability is the most important, is what I was thinking. I don't think the rest matter. Let's attach that up immediately so that I can get my next Joe school. That's a whomper of a school. Woof. And then I just want to make sure that I'm growing, I think. Growth. Growth, 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 growth. This chopper, ready to chop. And this one will be able to... Again, I sacrifice it for the greater good. I think I do. Sorry. You're out. More people on food, more growth. It will get to a point where that becomes pretty inefficient. So I should probably think about not doing that. Let's have a look at this one up here, which is the Joe School of your dreams. Look at these mountains. Holy crap, holy. Woof. Is there anywhere that can get a 4 or a 5? This one can get 1, 2, 3, 4. This one can get 3. That's a brilliant spot. I wonder if it's any better than that. I doubt that it would. Can I settle a reasonable outpost next to it? Yes, I'm going to do it. Nice. Nicer than nice. Send this unit off on auto explore so that I can forget about exploring. Maybe send that one up that way. And also put that one on auto. And continue to maybe like fight some animals or something. Scavenge some resources. I also need to be taking a look at luxuries because they're going to be very important for early boosts and stability, which is something that's going to fall off the rails really fast when the pollution kicks in. But I don't think it'll be an issue beforehand. So maybe it's fine. Nigeria is a must pick for the oil refinery. Yeah. I think Nigeria would be a brilliant pick. I wonder if it's better than Australia. It could very well be. Tinker raises a point as well. With the Civic that I'm talking about later, where stability doesn't matter, is the Joe start less powerful as a result? I think the answer is yes. But I don't know if it matters, to be honest. Let's send this unit out and keep exploring, because there's a lot of world to discover. I'm going to bring this one back as well. These two are going to give this big bad boy another roll as well. Go on. You know what to do. Bounce around onto the high ground. Oh my god, he did. Oh, interestingly, I think because I'm playing on nation difficulty, I'm used to the mammoths being a lot stronger than they are. Sorry, because I'm used to playing on humankind difficulty. On nation difficulty, can you kill a mammoth with just one dude? I feel like you can. Maybe I don't need to have units moving around in lots of twos. I need to, actually, I really need to keep that in mind. My enemies are significantly weaker than I'm used to them being, I think, at nation difficulty. So, I can probably abuse that. Right? Get calendar, and... Fishing for the food, I think, is better than the rest of these. But it doesn't really matter, because we've played Joe, I can get these technologies very fast. Could be an upside there as well. There's so many things to consider, isn't there? I feel like you go down a rabbit hole of min-maxing. I do anyway. Oh god. Okay, start chopping these forests. Go, gadget chopper. At least one thing we can all acknowledge, Joe's music is so good. It's just like a massive harp or something. Just any great spots game? Really? Although, I think actually there's some logic in settling a high food there, connect to this place. Plus one food from a harbor, no thanks. See ya! I'm not even sure if it's worth pillaging that sanctuary. Maybe we claim this territory as well while we're here. Or not entirely familiar with the geography. Hold on. Forest curated. It is. I hope I'm not super close to another person, because actually that is another point. My neighbors are another geographical consideration. If we start here, are we starting close to a lot of people or far away from them? I'm not sure. My ace ability again, another thing that other empires are able to do. I'm not sure if it's even worthwhile though, because with this amount of money, maybe I should just be doing this. Buying districts. Buying improvements. Every district gives me a little bit... Well, these ones actually give me positive stability, which is pretty cool. Need farmers. Ugh. Ah. Another consideration that's just hit me like a sack of spuds. If we choose Joe first, it makes my builder ability better in Era 2 because we can convert all of the science into industry down the line, potentially making up for any lost gains. Maybe. Again, it's a big maybe, but it just might be the case. I can get another city down really soon. I don't think it wants to be that tile necessarily, though. Spots? Limity Claimers? No, this isn't terrible. I'll grab it. Oh, yeah, look, and there's someone right there. Yikes. Yikes for them. A big yikes for them. Ow. A huge yikes. This territory doesn't really mean a lot to me, to be completely honest. Its yields are garbage. It doesn't have any known resources. I think both of these units leave this place. We'll leave this place. Get 40 influence along the way, which is absolutely bloody massive. Because now I can turn this into a city. This turn. Aha! Start working on a 21 science Joe district. Brilliant. All the rest of the yields here suck. So I might just buy that. Work on that. It could again start translating these units into populations. Should think of that better when I actually do this. I do need to move, I think maybe at least in lots of 2, but not for the reason that I first thought. It's not to fight, it's actually to redistribute pops. So what we'll do here is get a crappy little harbor, crappy little that, and then attach this up to this crappy little place immediately. Get another Joe district down just wherever, doesn't really matter. Yep. And then we are literally next door to a capital. Oh boy, I'm liking the start more and more. Oh, I definitely min-max without thinking about it, Terentius. Totally. No, I know exactly what you mean. There are definitely things that I'll be min-maxing without thinking about it, I would say. Yeah. Take the religious tenant for stability on rivers. Good point. I was going to take the food one to keep my population up. I don't like the stability on rivers because doesn't it just apply stability per river rather than river tile? My understanding was that it's like, this is one river, therefore you get 2 stability, rather than 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. I'm not sure on the exact mechanics, but that's how I thought it worked. I thought it was just total garbage, frankly. But if it's not, then I will consider it. Although I can't help but feel that with a high industry focus, I'm better off to try and get lots of food out of the ocean, keep my populations high. Here's a city I can take immediately. Let's meander over here. That's pretty fun. There are so many things to manage. +1 combat strength would help with early combat, so I'd probably take that. Seems like a good idea. Better to get stable early for as long as possible. Good point. I like it. Thank you. Very good point. If I can keep my... Although... Is it beneficial? It raises my influence. I don't need fame. I don't need to win. So I don't need the influence stars. I do need influence to settle and enact civics. So I suppose that's probably the benefit from keeping stability high in this playthrough, hey? The mountains block off the western flank nicely in Southeast Asia. That they do. It does hone in nicely. Once we get through the flat European plain, it narrows in nicely to, I believe, a band of like 500 kilometers instead of 2,500 kilometers or something along those lines. It's in real life anyway. We settled that. Yeah, keep the influence high, keep the stability high, allow me to move out, get all the trade deals I want, settle all the territories I want, get the civics I want. Lessen the need to forego the Egyptian legacy trait bonus. Also true. Yep, we're getting bloody brilliant Confucian schools. Yeah. Happy with these. Really happy with these, actually. My nearest neighbor is default AI Persona 2, full of personality and life. I feel like an early war is probably the way to go, although I can move through. This brings me to my next point. And I'm not sure what the right move is. So, here are my thoughts. I would really love your feedback. I don't need to win the game on fame. There is no requirement to win the game on fame. The challenge only requires me to burn the world. This lessens the need. Well, in fact, it completely removes the need for me to earn these stars, because they don't provide me any value. I don't need stars. Once I get the first 7 to move through, I don't need any more. What I do need to hang around for potentially, though, is getting these emblematic districts online. My theory is that I move through immediately from Joe, though. Even though the Confucian schools are great, and they're giving me good science, I feel like maybe I'm just like, thanks, Joe, see ya, and then I bounce through into an industrial culture and call it a day. I'm playing on nation difficulty. Which I'm not used to playing on. I feel like even if I bounce through really fast, fame still won't be an issue, even if I wanted to make it an issue. I don't know. My feeling is I ditch the cultures hard and fast when they're not providing me value. We're on Blitz, so science from those is a lot. Yeah, yeah, Chang, you're absolutely right. The science is huge. Now, I did hear some interesting calls for me to play Carthage in this era. The logical pick for the challenge is probably the Mayans. Sound reasoning, yeah. Okay, good, good. Other calls, I don't know if there's really anyone else to think about. I don't need to move through fast with the tech. I think Terentius is right that there's a need for harbors for military. But I will not choose a militarist culture in this era. I don't think that's worthwhile. You could maybe make a case for the Persians to have a shiteload of cities and keep the stability high. Quick poll? Yeah, let's do it. Europe won the vote, but I think that the Southeast Asia start is actually a better start. I lean towards the one that I'll play. Yeah, let's do a quick poll. Mayans and Carthage seem to be the top 2 picks. I'm not sure. I don't think I want a foodie, so we can rule them out. Don't know about those. Yeah, it probably is between the Mayans and Carthage, isn't it? Let me jump over onto the poll screen. Maya and Carthage. I don't really understand the logic for Carthage. After playing Joe first. Feels like a long time to not have an industry. Counts as a farmer's quarter and a maker's quarter. There's some logic in there. Wouldn't have an industrial ability. Carthage is the best for religion. Out of the 2, totally. Mayans with the number of territories is amazing. Check their traits. Mayans +2 industry per workers. City or outpost. It's 3 industry per number of attached territories. So our industry just goes brrrr. Jaw is noting some audio issues in the chat as well. I'm keen to unpack those a little bit more. Anyone else is experiencing that, I'd love to hear more about it. The mic is not set to push to talk. Game audio is cutting out together with the microphone. Interesting. It could be, or it could be me going over to another tab and cutting it as well. I'm not sure. I'll listen back to the replay and figure that out. Constructible buyout includes districts. It does. So yeah, the other note is the Carthaginians. What do they do? Minus 25% on all constructible buyout costs. I don't know if I'm going to have a lot of money to be buying districts out. I don't know if that's the play. But it could be. Could be. This isn't my actual run. We're kind of just testing the waters. But I will make a save here, just in case. Do you want this to be the real run? Joe Classique. God, he's classy. Okay, great. Yeah, I'll save that just in case. Because this could be in my actual run. It's been a pretty unorthodox start, though. I think the early war should be a good idea as well. Early faith ain't that bad. Totally true. Yes, it will make it cheaper to buy districts outright. I just don't know if I have a lot of money to buy districts outright, though. Multiple I would really appreciate that. Yeah, Pete's right. This can't be the actual run because I didn't set the end conditions right. So this cannot be the actual run. This is just for test purposes only. So there's no need to save throughout just in case I want to make it the real one. Important to note. Thank you, Pete. I appreciate you, my friend. I do. To be really cautious when I'm setting up the actual game to set it up properly, because there'd be nothing worse than when I sit down on Wednesday morning for me, which Tuesday night for most of you, Tuesday afternoon, to do the actual run, and I don't set it up properly. I would destroy myself. That would just be the worst thing in the world. Can buy my maker's quarters with Carthage in the long run. Providing I have money. Totally. Totally. Loads of support for Carthage, but it's fairly mixed. Really mixed. Why don't we try both? This is a test one after all. Let's have a look and see what Carthage could do. I'll just bounce through. I'm not too worried. I'm especially not worried now that Pete's highlighted what Pete just pointed out. Really doesn't matter. Likewise, I think that most of these early technologies don't really matter either. Organized warfare is probably a good one to grab if I want to fight my neighbors.
Grow, both of dealing. I'm about to see offers.
Tree choppers, literally every turn on every territory, I'm probably running around like this. Now, it's important to note that if I'm not choosing an industrial culture and I'm deforesting, industry is actually going to be quite difficult. I think maybe too difficult, actually. I don't know if I can get the best of both worlds here. But let's just playtest it a bit, see what happens. It's the purpose of this run, after all. 2 cities, yeah, love it. Unfortunate. That's right, I'll just smash that one down there. Oh, what a harbour that is. Yeah, really good. You do you, Chief. You do you. And I feel like this, I would definitely do this. Refuse the non-aggression pact. Declare surprise war. March onto the city. And, literally just take it.
Time to see what happens when foreign cultures get together and decide to merge.
That's pretty funny. I hope this happens in the actual run. There's always going to be a little bit of RNG to it. But if this happens in the actual run, I'd be really pleased. Oh, hold the phone. Jeez, we're getting slaughtered out here. I'll probably need 3 units. Ooh, and actually, I have the flag, so I don't even need to be fighting that guy. Though they are just about to perish. I'd allow it to bounce through 2 turns. So I can potentially destroy someone very early on, which is super exciting. I do have to keep that in mind when I'm settling cities, though, actually, and taking territory. The upside to playing Carthage is that I can spam out their district. Okay, there's another player up to the north. Holy. It's like crowded house up in here. This is going to be a really fun challenge. I'm so stoked that they invited me to be part of it. Even if I lose horribly. Bring more units. Yes. Number one takeaway from this for me so far has actually been bring more units. Maybe I don't disband them early on. Their value is likely greater on the front lines than being pumped out into this place when it's starving and can't grow. Although, to be fair, it's actually doing all right. In a Carthage playthrough, I would probably choose to not build that Maker's Quarter for a very long time. Keep chopping the trees. That will spam through stuff like there's no pro. I know that there's a fight this way, and I kind of have 4 units up there already. Which probably means that this unit wants to go over there somewhere. Ugh. Build a city near him. Yeah, just forward settle everyone. Carthage is underrated. I do like Carthage a lot. I do. I just wonder if not choosing an industrialist twice is a very good idea. So long as their district is a Maker's Quarter, it doesn't matter though. Well, it doesn't matter for the end goal, right? It could matter in the interim, but it won't matter for the end goal. Should have placed that outpost down before I moved. You're right, Chief. Just you do you. Just do you. Keep chopping. All the choppers. I need more choppers. I think that actually I am maybe onto something about not getting rid of units. Getting rid of units seems to not be super beneficial for me.
With 5 farmers,
Going to be a lot of this maneuver going on. Chop, chop, chop. Watch the industry start to fall in the city though, as I chop things. So I have to just keep that in the back of my mind, I think. In the back of my mind. This territory looks like a good one to place. Also, it has a few forests around here that I could chop down, and the negative impact on the cities is going to be relatively minor. Now, over here, we have this wonderful battle, which I'm going to win. Thank you. So there's Asura taken. I really hope they don't have another city and we just wipe them immediately. That's the dream. I don't know if it's actually going to play out, but that is definitely the dream. This unit is annoying, so definitely I should be trying to move in groups of 3. Always moving in groups of 3. Let that be a lesson. Speaking of chopping, it's choppy. Is it just me or the audio is spotty? Let me have a look. Performance window. Stream quality is apparently good. Drop in no frames. Looks good on my end. Yeah, I can't see any issues. What I can do though is remove maybe some of the see if that helps your audio quality at all or makes it worse. Let me know if that made any tangible difference. Remove a couple of filters and enable the raw audio to be a little more raw. Just bounce back over here. Yeah, so this is bad. This is really bad. I've taken a Sura, but I have no reinforcements to protect it. Keep that in mind. Army wages. I think this is a fairly inconsequential civic, although the extra combat strength and stability is likely the way that I'll go in the actual challenge. So I'll choose that this time. We've got these guys. A Tusa. Give Huck the Sega keys. Al contributed 1,700 channel points to it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, the game will cut the music when I move to a different window. That's just a me problem. But if the audio is bad, I would love to know. Yeah, if it's if the stream. It would also be useful to know if it's the stream quality or the audio itself. I will listen back to it afterwards. Listen back to my stream afterwards and figure out, because it could be like a noise gate cutting me or something like that. But as I listen back to it here, it sounds okay. So, yeah. But thank you. I do appreciate it. I'm testing a whole lot of new things to my setup today at the same time as testing this challenge. A very testy stream, some might say, if they weren't an idiot. I wonder if an army of 3 is good enough to take a city on nation difficulty. Let's try.
Rapid and dangerous, the Hittites. Get ready to hear
All right.
the sound of...
Surprise! We're gonna fight as well! Because why not? The flag will be mine, so I can bounce out of dodge like there's no tomorrow. Maybe put the weak unit there, put the strong one there. Very good. Like colluded with Huck to keep him ahead. I like it. I like it. Not just the game music. More a voice thing, going slightly down. Okay. Going slightly down. Shoot, they've got the flag. Yet they will still come out to fight. Noobs.
I'm on it.
Oh, but looks like they'll only take a little bit of bait.
Forward! Let's go.
I think I'll lean into that.
Let's go.
In fact, what I would probably do is circle it, fight with all of the units. Yeah. Yeah. Was the game audio underneath that was being choppy? Okay, good to know. That's probably to do with how I was routing it. I reckon maybe the Streamlabs... My theory was that the Streamlabs filter was cutting it. So I've removed all of my Streamlabs filters. I'm hoping that that's fixed it. My theory is I used to have filters in Streamlabs to cut my mic from, like, if I screamed, right? You wouldn't get like 1,000,000 decibels blowing out your eardrums. But I don't need to do that anymore now that I've got this new microphone. I can interface with it earlier before it reaches you. So what I've tried to do now is remove the filters from Streamlabs' end because I feel like they might have been making the game sound cut in and out. Let me know if it's worked. Seems like it might have. Huck says it has, and Huck knows everything, so clearly it has worked. Speaking of worked, I think that strategy will work, but probably 4 units a city. It's got to be fair. It's got to be said. I need 4 units to take these cities. I really like the Southeast Asia start a lot. In an ideal world, I would run through a playtest like this with every start and actually figure out which one I like the best. But I am not going to have opportunity to test like this again after this stream. So this is all of the prior knowledge I'm going to have. It's important to note that improvements like this will matter for pollution down the line. But like you've rightly pointed out many times, doesn't necessarily matter at the start, right? Doesn't actually matter until the industrial era. So I think I should approach my technologies a little more fast and loose, a little more open to opportunity. I think you attach that to there. Stability is going to be... Stability may be a challenge. Wondering if it all matters is that Jumbo has X cities with Y production capacity and Z infrastructures completed before he goes into the industrial. And how he gets there matters less. Totally agree. And that's what I was trying to reflect on just then, but probably butchered it. But I think Pete's absolutely right. It is the journey that we can be really way more flexible with than I might have thought at first. Because the journey of how I get to the industrial era doesn't matter so much. So long as I can get there competently and have everything in place before I move through. The risk of not moving really quickly and taking a load of industrial cultures, and this could really bite me in the backside, is if another AI moves through the eras quickly and destroys me with their better technology and their better industry, right? That's the risk, I think. I think that that's the risk. What if someone all the way over here isn't playing it like me, because of course the AI is trying to win. So the AI won't be waiting before they move through to the industrial era. So if I don't nip that in the bud, then the whole strategy potentially comes falling down. Something to bear in mind, at least, I think. I'm just a little bit worried that I'm going to try and bite off more than I can chew, essentially. What if this doesn't go well for me? Basically. Close to victory in the war with the Assyrians, naturally. In fact, I'm surprised it wouldn't just end. Okay, it does. And I've got enough war score to take, unfortunately, not everything. But what I would probably do is just force that surrender, I guess. Try and destroy them. The other idea could be to vassalize the AI, and then they won't be a threat that way. It's something to consider. Maybe also I think, like, all of these cities are just extras. So I should use them to produce units and stuff. Yes, Huck, absolutely. I fully plan to cover Dune Spice Wars in its early access, which is the 26th of April, which is like 2 weeks away. Super exciting. Yeah. Really looking forward to that one. And I will absolutely be covering it as much as I can. Totally. Yeah. Totally. Oh, and I need to remember to chop trees every turn too. Ideally, we'd not be chopping these dense forests. We'd start with these woodlands. As you can see, they just provide less industry to the city, so it makes sense to chop them first. Another one of those min-max moves. I mean, this is just garbage. But it does count as a district,
With 5
so I will
makers
place
forces,
it.
An empire could build all sorts of interesting.
Really, that goes for
and
probably all
troublesome
of the
things.
outposts. This one already has it. We've got this wall going up here, which I can reinforce an extra dude into. Brilliant. And very much needed. Looks like they're sort of opportunistically moving out where they can. That's a really bad spot to stand, though. I like that. Yeah, you better run, you coward. I think pushing the aggression is the right move. Get it down to 1. Next turn, I take the city. Ah, no, it only lasts 2 turns. Yeah, so going to be really important that I move around in those groups of 4. Those groups of 4 that I picked up early on matter a lot. More than I gave them credit for, I think. If I want to go this early aggro route. Drive safe, you Texans are crazy. Listen on the way home. Oh, Hoff, hey! Good to see you. I was hoping that you would also be listening in. At least to a portion, because I think you're a very clever player. It's interesting that the stability thing is already falling away because I went big cities fast. I think maybe Feng would ditch something and give it to a Sir. Oh, thank you, Sir. Yoink. That might just help its stability a little bit. Yeah, in fact, it helps it a lot. So try and keep my cities to 2 territories wide. To try and keep influence high. Again, it doesn't super duper 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 matter, but it's something that I want to keep in the back of my mind. I do also want a religion hard and fast, which by stomping on my neighbors early might be really achievable. I might not even have to try that hard as well because we're on nation difficulty. I don't know the mathematical differences between the difficulty levels. One of those sort of min-maxy things that I just don't really pay a lot of attention to. But it feels much easier. Which you would expect. Whether that will help me out or not remains to be seen. But Northgard is good. Yeah, Shadow games are cool. Shadow games are really cool. I wish that I played Northgard more. Northgard's one of those titles that I really like. And the time that I put into it I liked, but it was just not enough. There's actually iron down this way, which is neat. I'll probably take this after all. Kind of need another city over here. Makes me does make me think, hey, maybe there's some value in taking the Persians if I'm going out hard and fast and grabbing land. Either that or I vassalize my way to victory, I suppose. Get that holy site in 1. Probably doesn't really matter because we're just doing a test game, but it would be nice to get it in 1. The low industry is prohibiting that, unfortunately. This is the downside to not choosing a whole load of industrialists. I think that Maya's the better pick. Let's have a look. As soon as I said I would try them both, I will, in fact, try them both. So that's kind of a flavorful look at what a Carthaginian attempt might look like. What if we build a ton of cities and have them all pumping out pollution? Yeah. Because I think Pete could be right. Cities matter a lot. Cities are the key to pumping out a load of pollution. But I don't think it's worth choosing Persia to get the +2 city cap. This is the difficulty that I'm going to run to a lot though, isn't it? If I have loads of land, the district is not helpful for pollution, but it is only 1. Look and see what the mines could offer. I feel like the mines would allow me to do things much faster early on, which, even though I can muck around for an infinite amount of time, does matter when you think about, I don't want the AI all the way over here to snowball out of control. Speed matters a little bit, but nowhere near as much as it would in a normal game where I actually have to win off fame. Because, as a gentle reminder, if you're just joining us, I don't have to do that here. Pollution is the name of the game. Chopping trees is the aim. Among other things. No point chopping them in territories that I haven't claimed, though, so let's not waste our time. You just run around in a circle, you big dummy. I know that I can fight them.
As urban centers grow, both ideas...
Yeah, being that high of a city cap early,
are
Huck is right, will
generated at a record
destroy my influence generation.
Arts and sciences flourish as military tactics
Absolutely
and
destroy it.
operations become as coveted as physical goods. Empires struggled to control these intangibles, however, as some might trouble their stability. Maya had excellent ideas
Pithy
for
asks
construction
about the
and
challenge.
calendars,
If I have,
though they
do I
were
have one
rude
try officially,
advances.
or can I submit my record? They didn't clarify that, but I think it's probably you do your one attempt and that's your attempt, I think, yeah. Because it would be very easy for all 6 of us to, if we had the time, sit down and just absolutely min-max the ever-loving F out of everything and get a perfect save in our own time. I think that the challenge is really about live streaming your attempt and seeing how you go, and the prizes are nice, but I think it's a have your one attempt live, and that is your attempt. But they did say that we don't have to stream the whole thing, and that we could, if we wanted to, only start streaming when we cross through to the industrial era. That would mean that I could take on what you've just said and essentially sit here for like 48 hours, get the perfect save ready, and then start streaming. But I don't know, I kind of feel like that's a bit scummy. Just a little. Although, it would be a great way to guarantee a victory, and it is technically not against the rules. A little bit of a grey area, one that I'm not going to jump into myself. But it is a grey area, and you are right. I could set up a perfect start before I begin. But I won't do that. I'm gonna embrace the somewhat sort of madness of the challenge, if you will, and live stream my whole attempt. I think it's also more enjoyable as a viewer. Like, as a viewer, I would much rather see the whole attempt than see someone turn up with a, oh look, here's a magical save. Either way, we know how that plays out. I can kind of ignore that, actually. What I'm more interested here is the Mayans, and whether big industry is the way to go. And I can see myself going around and around and around in circles trying to figure out whether it is or not, actually.
bloody and smelly.
Big industry doesn't want you to
History
know
may
this
be
one
changed
secret.
by battles, but that doesn't mean they're enjoyable.
What a pathetic attack that was. It's just dogpilot.
Now, all together.
If we get desperate, I'll run back to the flag, but there's no desperation here. These guys are the easiest take in the world. Nice. Heal up, defend that city. Okay, over onto the task at hand. The mines will give me loads of industry. Of course, though, it's important to note that as I chop down forests, and as many of you have pointed out, the adjacency bonuses become less important. The districts even become less important, actually. Carthage play is spicy. I'm leaning towards going a really spicy alternative route and not playing any industrial cultures for two reasons. Firstly, our playtesting today has suggested it just might work, or at least give me a reasonable chance. Secondly, and more importantly, it'll make my attempt likely a lot different from everyone else's. I suspect most people will go a big builder route because that's what Amplitude suggested we should do in their cheat sheet for us. And it kind of makes sense if you're doing a pollution run that you'd want to do lots of builders, right? That's the knee-jerk reaction. But the more that we test this through, the more I think, no. I really like the Joseon play for the early modern era. I've basically locked that one in my mind. Guaranteed I'm picking them. I've almost guaranteed I'll choose the Ethiopians in the final era if I do need to progress that far, which I probably will. The first three are still kind of murky for me. Era 1, I'm leaning towards either Egypt or Joe. Era 2, Carthage or Maya. And then Era 3, we'll take a look at. So actually, I might just try and blitz my way. Haha! The pun was intended. I'm going to blitz my way through to Era 3 so that we can actually have a look at those cultures in-game and see what they can deliver. Because, as a reminder, this is not the official attempt. It can't be the official attempt because I didn't set it up properly. Noob. Noob. Technologies here, like I say, don't really matter. Trade expeditions doesn't matter because we've got so much land around us. It's kind of just imperial power. And that, and that. Oops. Hold on. Everybody redo what you're doing. There we go. Cool. That's my technologies done. Just going to ignore those. Focus on this. So the upside, of course, to choosing the builder cultures is that we actually get to build. And I think that matters to pacing, but not necessarily to achieves. Oops. Oh, that doesn't. Get your district down on an otherwise awful tile. Food's pretty tough here. Food's really tough here, but once we connect it to the seaboard, it should be okay. Ooh. Actually, yeah, when I remove its connection there, I move its connection to the sea, so maybe we grab that instead. Yoink. Yoink. Close to victory in a war, as we know. Interestingly, in this alternate history, I managed to take both. There you go. One of those tiny little RNG elements that will constantly be playing out throughout the entire challenge. It's going to be really interesting, actually, to see how the six of us end up with all of our different strategies and the little bits of RNG throughout. I'm really interested. I'm really interested. I can push the city cap above 30. Stay back. Jump into the industrial era when you're one turn from pollution Armageddon. Pollution doesn't start until I think I've just had a sudden realization of great truth. The industrial era will begin not when I move through, but when a player moves through. That's how it works, isn't it? So I can't hang around indefinitely because someone else... Although, actually, hold on. I'm going to have to actually look at their specific rule set because I think they said... I think I'm actually conflating two issues into one here. While the industrial era itself in-game might start for a player, and another player may start to trigger pollution, the timer doesn't start for me. The challenge timer that Amplitude have set doesn't start until I move through. So actually that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if other players start to build pollution. In fact, it works better for me, doesn't it? Yes, it does. I see. And I understand your initial point. It's all coming together in my mind, but not as much as it's coming together with a wonderful Huck who says, "Give it up for our Jumbo and the recognition he's getting from Amplitude Studios." Huck goes on to say his inclusion is just one more step towards the hashtag Give Jumbo an Avatar. Don't forget to like the stream. Huck, thank you so much for a $20 super chat. That is wicked, and you are awesome, and I greatly appreciate it. You are amazing! I'll get better at timing those audio effects, but yeah, having a lot of fun with these. I'm having too much fun. In fact, hopefully I'm not the only one. Am I the only one? Is it just me having fun? Anybody? 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 That was cool. Okay. Yeah, the live bleep is my favorite by far and away. I just think this is the best thing I've ever spent my little amount of money on. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But to acknowledge Huck again, Huck, thank you for a $20 super chat. And to be fair, while it's awesome to see my recognition, it's also, and I'm not just saying this to be cheese on toast McGee, it's also cool that it's recognized us as a community as well, because we are a pretty significant humankind community. Maybe one of the most significant. And so it's not just me being acknowledged, but it kind of bleeds back through to the community, and then it bleeds back from the community back to me. So it goes around and around and around and around, right? And it's pretty cool. He's like a kid playing with a new toy. I so am. That rule doesn't account for Josie on unlocking Cole. Yes, so let me just really quickly double check that I've got the specifics right. I'm almost certain that I do. But I think that the timer, almost certain that they said the timer doesn't start counting until you trigger the industrial era. Yes. Yeah, I'm right. Cool. Okay, so we can actually kind of play around with that a little bit. Oh, this is so good.
Get ready to hear the sound of chariots when you least expect it.
You just won your first Civ 5 game. Oh, wicked. Congratulations. Yeah, Civ 5 is another... a catalogue of videos that I'm really proud of on the channel. Not because they're like the greatest videos of all time or anything, but I think that they do a good job at providing information that players new and improving need, and I think that for the most part, I've covered like a lot of bases as well, so I'm glad that you got value out of them, is what I'm trying to say. Genuinely, I really am. And go you for winning. Hopefully I can win too, and I can win us some game keys to give away. But like I say, as a viewer, you can get them regardless by just viewing other people too. So that kind of takes the pressure off me just a little bit, but not enough, because I do need to give Huck a Sega game key, apparently. These guys are immediately pillaging that, as they would, because I stole it from them. So what we'll do is we'll just sort of... Oh, look, it's high ground. You clever, clever man. Okay, that's fine. What I do want to have a look at the very least, is Era 3. So let me just use my super duper speed 5 million tactics. Chuck you on auto explore. Do want to claim this, so I might just station you there for the time being. You can go out along your merry way. We know that we can fight them. I might refrain from doing so right now, because I don't desperately need to.
If an army
Paid wages is the way to go. I haven't thought too closely about the direction of the Civics. I don't think it matters too much in terms of the ideological axes. Maybe the extra combat strength will be nice if I want to romp stomp. Khmer are the only medieval option. I tend to agree. I'm just wondering if there's any alternative option that I haven't considered, really. Like, I didn't really consider Joe as a reasonable start, but I think it could be. And I think it combos well with the move into Maya, because then I can go build a mode like this and finish everything really fast. Like the extra science, spam out a whole load of districts, maybe get the food online as well. Sure. I don't know though, actually. The more I think about it, the more I think these alternative routes might be the way to go, almost entirely. The Carthaginian one is nice, as Tink and others have rightly pointed out, because it counts as both a farmer's quarter and an industrial quarter. We don't yet know if it provides pollution as both. I suspect it would, but I don't know for sure. I kind of like the idea of picking up these industrialists, though, just to get everything done a bit quicker. Because even though I might have infinite time, I also don't. There'll still be some urgency. Largely my AI competitors. Choppity choppers. Brilliant. City cap is something that I'm also increasingly concerned about, way more than I was initially. I mean, we can get the +1 out of the Civics, much to my stability dismay, but that's fine. And then the religion, we've talked a little bit about this too. +2 stability on river. I'm pretty sure that literally just gives 2 for the entire river rather than river tiles. I think that's awful. Mountain with the Joe start, maybe? I feel like food and industry, just get the best yield you can, because that will give you the best things possible, is a good idea. Always be 1 over city cap. Absolutely agree with Al. Always the way to be. Totally. Get the infrastructure later. We could even get the infrastructure from something out of this. Although, I think that you're right that this is maybe not a good idea. Rather get food. Potentially science. Right? It's kind of alternative. Could be a go. If we're playing the Carthage play, I'll take the food from the seas. If I'm playing the Mayans, I might go for, like, Seek Wisdom or something like that. So I guess it depends a little bit on that. The other important thing to remember, and the reason why I do still need to focus on industry while I'm playing through, is if I fall too far behind, I miss out on picking my cultures. The AI is really the thing that's forcing me to at least keep a little bit of pace. So long as I can at least get 7 stars, I can outpace them though. But they are my timer, effectively, because I don't want to get in a situation where I'm stuck choosing, like, I don't know, the Greeks. No offense to any Greek viewers. Carpe diem. Oh no, I believe you, Tink. If that's the way it works, I believe you. I don't need to see proof. I just always thought it only gave +2 on the entire river. To be honest, I watched a Yogscast stream and they talked about it really early on, and I was like, damn, that does suck. I'm not doing that again. Okay, so it is... Okay, apologies. I'd like to issue a formal correction. This is a formal correction announcement to let you know that each river tile actually receives +2 influence, not the entire river. Thank you, that is all. You know what? This is a test game. Let's test it. Although I do believe you. I'm curious, does it provide 2 stability whether the tile... I guess it probably only provides the stability if the tile is worked, exploited. Although maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just applies it regardless. The other question is 10 stability good enough? Like, is 10 stability better than 10 science? Is 10 stability better than 10 industry, and then you build a garrison with that industry?
Leap forward.
I don't think so.
From
I
mundane
think it's quite underpowered.
Now, things that one generation
Even
learned can be
playing
passed
out
to the next.
across,
Via something
even if it
more
plays out on every
reliable
tile,
than campfire
I still,
stories.
like, what? So 2, 4, got 10 stability. So that's 1 garrison with the Civic. Like, is that really worth basing a religion over? I don't know. don't know if it is. I suppose the upside is that it gives it to me immediately and allows me to grow immediately faster rather than having to build a garrison. Is building a garrison a chore? Well, it kind of is. Yeah, it kind of is. And the UI says it provides -12, but functionally it's actually -8, just to add to the confusion, Al. Hell's Remorse raises an interesting question. Don't you have complete control when you go into the industrial era? Shouldn't the timer be from the start of the game? Otherwise, won't everyone delay until they move through? And yeah, and that is fundamentally one of the key things that we've been strategizing about, is how long can I delay it? Because, no, to answer your question, the timer starts at the start of the industrial era. It does seem a bit odd that it doesn't start from the very beginning, I acknowledge. There are still some things that will be forcing me to move through, though. The main one being the AI and sort of when they choose their cultures. The start has so many rivers, my stability will be enormous. Let's have a look. Jump that unit up there. So there'll still be some things that will sort of force me to move through. If I waited forever and ever, the AI would move through, get a whole lot of advanced technology and destroy me. So that's something to consider. The other thing to consider is if I wait too long, I won't get to choose the culture that I want as well. Because the AI, in a game with 10 players, if you're not the first mover, you're probably not getting what you want. Something else to bear in mind. Cultural selection's pretty dang important. Let's be virtuous as water. Right. Cool. So that is being worked. That is definitely being exploited, although it is adjacent to a district. These are all adjacent to districts, actually. Let's have a look at how much it's actually providing. So on this city, for example, I am getting +8 from exploitations, +56 from districts. We factored into that as well. Yeah. -6 on a normal district is quite good, right? Where it would normally be -10. It's nearly half if we combine it with a Joe start. Just go ultra stable. It doesn't fix my city cap conundrum, but it potentially makes it easier for me to do huge big land grabs within individual cities. Like, I wonder what would happen if you grabbed that one. It's sort of keeping up. Sort of. Yeah, it's better than, it's definitely better than I thought. Credit where credit's due. Food's still a problem, but it's actually not a problem. Try and build as many of these districts as I can. I guess the other benefit to having the extra stability is that I get my extra districts down faster. Oh yeah, definitely Hell's Remorse. I will absolutely be waiting around, but I can't wait indefinitely. It will eventually reach a point where I'll be sort of forced to move. But you're absolutely right. Wait, hold for as long as I can before I move through into the industrial era so that I can try and get set up to pollute. Absolutely. Question is, should the AIs even be alive? Should there even be 10 AIs by the time I move through? I feel like the answer to that is no. If there are still nine AIs, if there are still 9 other AIs by the time I'm moving through, I feel like I've missed out on an opportunity there. Okay, what I really want to do is get some more stars, so I'll just kind of bloop, 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 bloop my way through. chopping. What I should also be doing, actually, is sort of chopping less valuable forests elsewhere. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Look at this! Holy shite! Oh, it's only bloody Mount Everest as well. Brilliant. So we get Halong Bay and Mount Everest start here. I mean, of course, there's going to be wonders everywhere. Start polluting much earlier. Yeah. Okay. Joseon is 100%, apologies for the pronunciation, but Joseon's 100% confirmed as the pick before. Sorry, Muggles.
Most
You're out of
games
luck.
Eventually yield
Absolutely, we
the
play
onslaught
them.
of more brains.
First era, I play either Egypt or Joe. Era 2, I play Carthage or Maya. Era 3, I'm going to play almost certainly the Khmer. We will just check them to double check, but I feel like it has to be the Khmer. Might just spam down a couple of those while I'm sort of bouncing through. We won't care about the negative outcomes of that, although in the actual playthrough, you bet your backside I will. I can upgrade these places so long as I keep my influence high. Another benefit potentially to going down this weird Joe stability river run. I actually quite like it. I'm almost thinking, hey CMB. Robin! A better name. Good one. I'm also thinking maybe I do go with Carthage, even though chat is leaning towards Maya as the pick. Potentially for the religious gain, maybe. That could be the camel that breaks the straws. What? It's gonna be the camel that breaks the straw's back. I know it is. I know it is because I'm intellectual. Smart. Okay. Holy crap, the city is massive. How is this so big? How is a city like this even doing well? I really like the Southeast Asia start too. This is another thing that I wouldn't have considered if I hadn't have playtested that today. Because in my mind I was just like, Egypt all the way. I need to focus on infrastructures, but I do need to take a little bit of care as I move through into the later game that I don't build infrastructures that remove pollution. Thankfully, not an issue right now. Teutons are a decent backup to the Khmer. It would be good to have a backup in mind, just in case RNGesus throws a bloody curveball at us. Oh, awesome, Robin, that's wicked to hear. Amazing, actually. Okay. I think we'll just let that do its thing, like I say. I'm keen to just move through a little bit faster, so... Although, there's some real benefit in me at least scouting out this land, so let's make sure that I at least know what I'm dealing with. This is India. Wonderful. So the Assyrians spawn in India, and there's another spawn up here in, like, Russia-ish. I'm gonna assume that there is no more this way. Because why would there be? Watch me, watch me run into another one. Okay. The city looks so tragic now. Not a forest left in sight. Just the way the pollution gods intended. Let's fill it with districts. Garrisons provide 12 stability, but I don't need them yet, so get out of here. Smash that holy site down. Smash that. You're on the float. We can start chopping trees here and pumping industry in. I like this early stability on the rivers. This is fun. Okay, let's have a look at era number 3 and just make sure that there's no potentially really massive oversight here. But I think Al is right. Fairly sparse on industry. I mean, no.
there is potential with the Aztecs. If I went really crazy militarist, there is some potential there. Unlikely to actually be super useful, though. I note that it does give faith and influence, but no thank you. Byzantines could make me gloriously wealthy, but their trait is awful, and I think we need value. The Franks are generally quite a good culture. Could be considered as a backup. I don't think the Ghanaians will be quite right. The Teutons were taunted in chat as maybe a goer. Their district counts as a maker's quarter, so it would pollute, which is nice. They'd give me a whole load of faith. And also a little bit of money in science. A nice balanced approach. A reasonable backup, maybe. Khmer counts as a maker's quarter and a farmer's quarter. So this ticks both boxes. Right? It also just generally makes my maker's quarters better. Overwhelmingly good. The English could also be a backup if we needed food. Farmer's quarter. Yeah. This is the one that I'm perhaps most considering, though. Swahili. In a game where I take Carthage, not the Mayans, I wonder if I take Swahili. Double down on that stability thing. Keep myself stable. The question is, though, would that matter? I'm not sure. Let's put it to you, the viewer. I feel like Swahili is actually a better second pick than the Teutons, just because of that massive amount that they provide. Their district is a farmer's quarter, so it will pollute at +3. It's okay. I feel like Swahili is the runner-up, and I'm being validated in chat, so I'm going to add that in as the backup. I think it's Swahili or Khmer. Do I need to poll it? Maybe I don't, because I feel like we know that the Khmer is the best. I'll chuck it in anyway, just to gauge some rough stuff. This looks a lot like Civ 6. Mood. Okay. But let's be real. Civ 6 has had a whomper of a facelift if this looks like Civ 6. Shots fired! Pew, 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 pew. Yeah.
I suppose there are some things that are best done alone.
Jump onto that river and move through this god-awful but brilliant mountain range, it's got to be said. Keep exploring. I also, while I'm doing the challenge, really have to keep across the notifications down the bottom, because if someone moves through, I don't want to lose my culture. There's no rule that prevents me from reloading, but I feel like that's not in the spirit. Let's pull the back up. I'm glad somebody's got a brain. Okay, so I think the backup choices are Swahili, Teutons, apologies, and who was my... I don't really know if there is a third viable backup here. I toyed with the Aztecs a little bit, but probably not. It might just be the all-round good Franks, maybe, that round out the third choice. Yeah. Influence, science. I don't think they're a great one. Who's the backup? But I agree. Oh, read my mind. Brilliant. Polls up! All the early infrastructure should be built everywhere as well. If I'm not building that, I'm probably doing something wrong. And even though I don't necessarily want to launch a huge military campaign, I will need some units. So it's probably around this point that I'd build a couple, so that the AI doesn't declare stupid wars on me, because that will really ruin the run if we get the AI trying to fight me. Like, just... I am just not interested in that. Choppity Chopper is going to move on to the next great land. There is that side challenge to try and chop down every forest in my territory. I feel like that challenge becomes almost impossible if you're trying to steal as much territory as possible, though. And I'm so nervous.
Devotion
The
and
Fanks.
respect.
Oh.
Good. Just be careful. Of what you do.
Sorry to the Fanks. it's thanks, but no thanks. I need a ba-dum-tsh sound effect. I'll sort that. Oh, Pete. That is... Oh, Pete raises a good point where I could build city infrastructure in preparation for the trains and the planes and the automobiles. Let's have a wee peek into the future. Okay. Train station. Train station has unlocked its steam engine. So as soon as I say, all right, I'm ready to move through, I can grab it. Unless, of course, we're playing as Joe's on, in which case we'll already have it. Oh, God, which means I need to be prepping here. Right. So I need to be prepping for train stations in the medieval era. If I was really clever about it. I should apologize in advance. I'm going to forget some of this stuff. I just am. I'm sorry. My brain sucks. But if I start prepping here, industrial circles, because then we move here where we're focusing more on potentially science in the early modern so that I can through into the industrial era and grab these technologies before we move. But as I was actually going to say, steam engine, pretty important. That'll get me coal, but also will get me train station. Let's have a look at what it actually does, because I never pay attention to these, because I never need them. So the train station will give 5 pollution and 5 industry per adjacent maker's quarter. Is it 5 pollution per adjacent maker's quarter, or is it just 5 pollution? The way that that reads, it suggests it's just 5 pollution, and the number of bordering maker's quarters don't work unless it's applying pollution to each maker's quarter as well as its innate effect of +5. Interesting. The other one to consider, airports. Let's zoom forward and have a look at them too. They're very far ahead though. They're in the contemporary era. Bit of a yikes. Aerodromes as well. Are back here actually. So the aerodrome provides, interestingly, +2 stability on discharge. Oh no, that's my ability, I believe. +5 pollution as well. I'm guessing the airport is the same. The airport is +15. Quite a sizable jump, but we do have to move through eras to get it. It's just 5, right? Okay, it is just 5. Oh my god, Huck, that would be amazing. I'm also taking notes. I am also taking scrawled, hand-drawn notes. I called it my cheat sheet, but really it's just a disaster. So I don't actually need to ring-fence the train stations because they don't have any adjacency, by the sounds. The airport is the moneymaker. Cha-ching! Yeah. Plus money per adjacent market. Right, so there's your adjacency bonus. There are no... It doesn't seem like there are any adjacency bonuses for these, so I don't actually need to plan around them. There is one more district, isn't there? There's one more big polluting district. What is it? Ooh, important to note while we're here that we look at some of this stuff as well, right? Sawmill, +1 pollution on Maker's Quarter. Way better than an airport. 5 Maker's Quarters equals 1 airport. This one as well, +1 pollution. All of a sudden, 2.5 Maker's Quarters equal 1 airport. They're going to be so important. Ludicrously important. We've also got resources like coal, a dirty black rock that burns like logs, and also oil. Neat. Don't think there's too much else to be too concerned about along here. I don't want to build any of those. Nature reserves, no thank you. Not interested. Missile silo, that's the one, thank you. Soil? Not a grain silo. Right. The reason why I'm unfamiliar with it is because it's slammed its way deep in the contemporary era. It's another plus 15 to Tina. Neat. Really neat. Okay. The industrial era is my baby. And then I've got my aerodromes earlier than the airports. Good, 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 good. Hey, I'm just gonna grab a drink. I'll BRB. Yep. Totally. Wham. Back onto the game screen. My god, he did it without clicking. I was watching the chat on my screen, and yes, absolutely. As soon as I move through, I need to be able to build those polluting districts as quick as possible. Sega keys one again. I need to win it as quick. I need to absolutely place that as quickly as possible. You're totally right. I'm feeling pretty confident with this sort of draft strategy that we've been building so far. Will it be a winning strategy? Maybe. Depends on a little bit on RNG. But if we can think about it as much as possible ahead of time. The religion, I'm happy to just sort of piecemeal through. Apart from maybe that first one, that stability on rivers could be a goer, weirdly. I want to also, another thing to remember, connect as many strategics as possible, particularly those later ones, coal, oil, but maybe it even bleeds through into the likes of copper, just because it's industrial. I'm not sure. Spam aerodromes and industrial, yes, hugely. Train stations may be better. Why not both? Carthage is key. Would it not only be at most one? If I put it on builder, if I had a huge industry and put it on builder mode, I'd probably be able to build them instantly. Like I might not need to buy them. I'm not sure. But to be honest, I am actually leaning toward Oh, no. The classical era is the one that I still am not sure on. I'm really not. I think that the pick here is Kumiya. So let's do it. Looks like our backup is Swahili over all else. I like that a lot. Swahili is just god tier. Best culture 2022 so far that's been added to the game. Sure. Holy Site's providing 24 stability. Look at me go, because it's also on a river. Wicked. I've looked at building this a million times. I'm just going to do it. For this playthrough. I probably wouldn't do it in the actual one. It's got to be noted. The other thing that's going to be kind of annoying is I'm going to have to constantly be like, need more food here, population. Although, is there any benefit to population growth? Maybe there isn't. If I don't need the food stars, do I care? Maybe I don't. Maybe I want low populated sparse cities. Unless, I don't think populations... If there's no scalar between population and pollution, which logic would suggest there should be, but there might not be, then maybe there's no benefit. However, if there is, then there is. I'll have to check that, because I don't know. Train station pollution, Maker's Quarters are a huge source in the late game. Train stations first for the production bonuses, then aerodromes. Yep. For this particular run, not at all necessary. Hey, Nick. Oh, nice. You found wicked. Hey, that's awesome to hear. I love it when people are like, oh, I finally tuned in for the first time. I'm like, good. Welcome, one of us. I guess it is just that relationship between having extra work people in the city to work the jobs. So some benefit, but no actual direct impact on it. Yeah. Science, gold, industry for the work slots. Yeah. So it's just that the generic benefit. So I should probably still prioritize it. But to a certain level. I don't think I need to go crazy. And get away with maybe, I don't know, like 30 pop or something like that. 30 or 40 or 50 by the end game. And even though I haven't perfectly calculated the numbers, I think the strategy of chop everything down, so long as it's within city borders, of course. I don't want to be chopping random forests and random outposts. And just do it every turn. Literally every turn. I need an extra city at the moment. I could take theirs or grab another, but that's important. Oh, probably in the actual playthrough I probably destroyed this person, so it probably doesn't matter. But shh, I do need to keep that in mind. Constantly looking at my city cap. This is going to be so stressful. I'm going to be a ball of nerves. Trying to make sure I don't forget the unforgettable. I'm gonna fan out the A team. Let's be real, they're the B team. Okay, these districts are like maybe the best district out of all the early cultures in terms of overall yield and pollution generation, right? The Khmer, I think the Khmer is even though Swahili is very powerful, my thinking at the moment is that Khmer is still a must. Basically a must take. Probably the most significant must take of the whole lot, actually.
Let's go.
Tell me if I'm a moron. But I think not. Tis for the Cathon ain't going so hot. Had to peace out versus the Huns and negative money tank my stability. I lost my capital to rebels. Imagine that. My official attempt. If that happened, I would just have to start my official attempt again. This does not count. We're starting again. Amplitude had set no rules around how many times we could try it, of course. But I will be
Debate and discuss.
doing it in the one. Unless that happens in like era 1 and I just die, because that doesn't count. Okay. God, this is a big landmass. Europe. You're so much bigger than New Zealand. I'm joking. Turn on District Borgers. Oh, yeah. Borgers? Absolutely, Pete. I should have that on for the challenge. Probably turn yields off as well. Make it a bit cleaner. Yeah, this is a much better UI approach. Clear lack of industry here at the minute. Maybe I'm not focusing on that enough. That'll sort it. Because probably, even though it's not all nice and good to be sort of building up and taking my time, because I have time, I don't want to be caught off guard. I want to be lulled into a sense of security thinking that I have time, but I don't. Essentially. Grab that territory, chuck a beret down there. Like, I wonder if I just go full builder mode everywhere. I need to embrace the cheese. The overpoweredness. Which maybe means a little something like that while I get my districts online. Because I'm not in such a rush, is the idea. I'm not in such a rush to get all my stars. So I don't really care that I'm not getting any money in science for a bit. As we move through into the industrial era, that will probably change though. Because I will need science again, rather desperately actually. Actually really desperately. Should probably forward plan that too. With a little something I like to call science quarters.
With 15 makers quarters,
Yes.
your biggest worry.
Trade's going to be kind of important too. If I'm not destroying people, I should probably be trading with them.
The world is full of new
Hey, nice nothing.
opportunities, is it?
Useless. Ah, dear.
Over there. Let's go.
Khamir's a must-have. Yeah. Khamir must-have. Restart, re-roll if I don't get them. And then I guess it's just a matter of every now and again checking up this way. Seeing what era people are in. Making sure that they don't steal my cultures. That's probably the only time-sensitive thing in these early eras.
Greetings to the Nubians. Now there's some good fortune. A neighbor who may be more interested in commerce than conflict.
Check stability. Oh, good God. Well, it's still fine right now, but after we move through a few turns, it will tank horrifically. What is the Civic that removes the negative impact of stability? And should I base my entire game around it? Surely. Because it's going to be a problem. If it's not a problem early, which we'd like to try and hold it off for a little bit if we can, it will inevitably be a problem once we move through to the industrial era and shite just hits the fan. It's just going to be an absolute pollution fest. Like, just so much unhappiness, so much pollution, so very little stability.
Over this way.
With 5 farmers' quarters, the people certainly have enough bread. Will 5 circuses be built next?
Something I didn't really give any consideration to is wonders. There is obviously a pretty strong benefit for me to get the pyramids of Giza, right? I wouldn't go as far as to say it's an absolute must, but it must be pretty high up there. Just for the cheaper districts. Also negates that whole Carthage, I need money to buy things thing. Hmm. After that, maybe I don't need another one until Angkor what? Angkor what? Potentially. Notre Dame is nice. I feel like the rest of them, I could kind of take them or leave them. Hanging Gardens of Babylon would be nice, but there's no huge clustering of resources, right? We're playing on a True Earth map after all, so I can't set the resources really high. But it is important. Stability, again. We're a little strained. We're a little strained. But again, I think that's inevitable.
I think you might find.
Pleased to accept your proposal, friend.
Although, with actions like this, by going out and meeting players as early as possible, I might be able to negate it.
The world comes a bit closer.
So I should
together.
also keep that in the back
Thanks
of
to
my
the first
mind,
trade
that I at
will
least
bring
want to
shiny
have
baubles and
a
greedy
little
vendors.
scouting party. If this was the real run, I obviously wouldn't have done that. It's fine. Sir wants desperately to expand. It can't unless it's willing to forego stability. It's going to continuously be a problem. Like I say, I'm willing to ditch it once we get to the industrial era. Like, just balls to the wall, who cares? But before that, maybe not. I think the pyramids are a grabber. Loads of districts. Stability is going to start to get restrained here. I guess I could do something I never do and just balance it out with commons quarters, right? I'll just build out logically and rationally, kind of like what Pete was talking about, but instead of so actually let's just go blah, 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 blah. It probably looks something like that, and then like that and that, right? And I should actually be planning this out from the start, or not like super. I'm not going to be like map tax all over the show or anything, but but I should probably be lacing commons quarters in throughout, or garrisons. Commons quarters probably better because they'll kind of fix my influence woes a bit as well. So that should be something that I consider. I don't normally consider it. I usually rely on leveraging a whole load of luxuries, and let's be real, probably just not having that many districts. But this time, I think I need to pay more attention to the commons quarter. Probably the best way around that problem. I don't know. Are there any other elements to the game, whether it be religion or civics or trade, anything else that anybody can think of, any blinding omissions that I've completely forgotten about? I would love to hear them. City cap thing's going to be a big issue. But in the actual run, I should be aggressive enough that won't matter. I'll be able to just romp stomp people. Basically. And there's going to be a lot of clicky clicky tree. Clicky clicky tree. It's a shame they don't have an automatically chop down trees function. That would be very handy. For the sake of this playthrough, I can grab a city, so I'll do it. A little something like that. Woof. I need the forge. The lumberyard. it probably it still actually is worthwhile building at the start, even though it rapidly deteriorates into nothingness. Get an extra tree chopper by the name of this mad lad. The Teutonic Order. Nubia may actually offer the best ancient start. Why? Interesting. Share your thoughts. Any unorthodox strategies are most welcome. The second tier of the religion is probably the hardest one as well, actually. It'll largely depend on who I've already chosen. Stability on garrison, so I could double down in garrisons instead of doing commons quarters, but I like the idea of commons quarters for the stability. The rest of these are sort of a bit meh. Just go, for the sake of this run, I go cheaper civics, because they're an area that I think is going to be important and that I'm not really across. My weak spot, if you will. Stability tanking, but Feng can fix that with a thinking. See, in a place like Feng, maybe it does make more sense to double down on the garrisons as my stable districts. Guess I could do both. I have a question. Raise his hand. Yes, you in the back. Choppity choppers. Ideally, chopping crappy forests, not good ones, but any forest is a good one in this playthrough. And you, God, you know what? You can just come over this way as well. It'll just be this tide of workers chopping everything as they go. Is there any benefit to the Teutons? Nah, that'd be a backup, I think. As Huck says, their district does count as a maker's quarter, so it will produce pollution. They'll give me a bit of money and science, but the only thing that they're adding to pollution is the fact that their district counts as a maker's. That's it. That's all she wrote. As far as we've played it through, anyway. The color scheme. Yeah, +1 money, +1 science could be useful to get my... I don't need my stars, but it could be useful to get the technologies a bit faster, to get the districts a bit faster, right? Those kind of non-challenge specific benefits are the only ones that I can see. This desert looks fantastic. I love that texture. Sterile terrain. How are you?
With 30 makers' quarters, one starts to wonder if strategy has been replaced by obsession.
The good part about playing on this lower difficulty is it seems like the AI is just entirely incompetent at taking wonders. Usually it's a fight to the death. I usually wouldn't get one until around era 3. But it looks like I can really, kind of de-escalate its prioritization massively. Let's give Assur some stability by pumping out the pyramids of Giza in a turn. And also, Holy Site down there too. Nice. That'll almost immediately fix that place. Nubians would like an alliance. Seems good to me. I need to, even though I do want to destroy the world, I should probably at least keep the sort of people who are maybe a bit further afield alive.
Rights, language, and beliefs.
I'm not big on the global conquest thing either, so it wouldn't surprise me on the day if I end up taking a more cowardly approach. Focusing more on just defending myself rather than taking too many cities, because as we rightly point out, it will get to a point where I just can't sustain There's just too many cities that it just doesn't work for me. A balance needs to be struck. At the moment, in this particular case, I'm not striking it very well in the opposite direction. I need more. BRB, got to get home from work. That's pretty important. Thank you for all of your help so far, Tink. Love how amazing shopping is at Blitzspeed. Yes! Me too, it's so f***ing good. Oh man, Blitzspeed shopping is really satisfying. I don't like it on any other, on the slower speeds. I find it frustratingly slow. Like it's like a waste of my time, even though I know it's not. But on Blitz mode, oh my god, a Forester turn? Try and hold me down. It's quite a nice territory. Where in the world are we? Kind of testing it a bit. I keep getting the Europe and the Southeast Asia starts confused in my mind. I keep calling China Russia. Okay, you go that way.
With 15 farmers' quarters,
Sort of need to
you'll
move a
soon be needing
lot
another
further this
15
way,
quarters
actually,
just for food. The
to
pyramids
find the
of Giza,
Europeans.
the original construction yardstick by which all other projects will be measured.
Okay. So we have a broad plan. We have a strategy in place. The only thing that I feel like is still a bit unanswered for me, well, I mean, there's a lot of gray areas, but the thing that I'm still pondering is it a good idea to take over the entire world? Or is it a better idea to not do that? I lean towards actually no. Oh, that's wicked to hear, S'wars. Joseon is absolutely a must. Thank you, Huck. Slam that bad boy open. Keep that one tucked away. Okay. That's the only thing I'm not sure about. I think upside is I take all of the land and all of the cities. Downside is I have all of these cities. Now, there's some benefit maybe to just leaving some AIs alive as trade partners early on. They can also start polluting for me so that I don't have to manage their territories and deal with their negative stability. I'm leaning towards trying that. Just trying to build up a good homeland, destroy the sort of nearest people around me, but leave some other powers alive. It's gonna be really interesting. Look at all these industrial jobs. The food is a massive deficit. Stability is the only thing stopping me from going absolutely nuts. Which brings me back to that. I appreciate you sharing it to the Twitter as well, because that's, you know, I can easily refer back to it that way, so thank you. Oh, it's a real conundrum, actually. I have so many dumb so many dumb saves here. What I wanted to do is just have a closer dive. I'm gonna need 2 more likes for a funny number. Hey, Super Steve-O. Couldn't play Humankind. Watch his streams in a tent with my dog. Sounds like a dream. I mean, except for my streams, but everything else. Kiwi yelling in my ear from my mobile phone. Oh god. Sounds like some kind of fresh hell. Actually, interestingly, it probably ends up being that take, but
There must be an awful lot.
focus
in
too
that
hard.
wide
There
world
are a
that the
few
elders
civics that
never
I think
even
will be
thought of.
paramount though, so I might have to go away and do my own reading and research on those. Namely, just the ones that remove negative penalties from stability. If there's a way to harness those that doesn't hurt too much, I think it could be worthwhile. And I don't think the stability is too much of a problem in that city, but this is probably indicative of future, of just how challenging it could be if I bulls it up.
That's not possible.
No.
This way. Off we go.
Good to note, Pete. 810, as Pete rightly points out, is the cost of building a train station. So I should try and have 810 in a city. Of course, the more the merrier, though. If I can double it, then I can get 2 train stations, right? 1 territory, 2 territory. And just go brrr, pollute. I still jump back to that thing, though, of how many AIs is the right number of AIs to be left alive? Do I go for global conquest and just really take my time, sit on my hands? Or do I not? That is still fundamentally the thing that I don't know what the right answer is. And I don't even know if I could guess at what the right answer is. How do you play that out in your mind? Wipe out the entire world, have every territory as mine, or leave other people alive to pollute and run the risk that they take cultures or grow so strong while I'm mucking around in the industrial era that they turn up with laser guns. And I'm like, I'm actually still just waiting to get some extra pollution ready. Right? That's ultimately the trade-off that I don't know the answer to, I think. Yeet.
With 5 research quarters, you're going to run out of questions to answer.
But I think our game looks a little something like this. Blitz speed is required for this challenge. Which also really does increase the threat of the AI becoming very threatening very fast. It would only take them 5 or 10 turns to have laser beams. And I don't know what happens when they get them. I don't know what happens when they get them. And that is why I keep going back to, do I fight everybody early
You must enrich the
or not? Because like I say, if we leave them alive, because the challenge requires blitz mode, they will likely get much better technology than me while I'm sort of mucking around, waiting to build up the industry, waiting to build up the pollution, etc., etc. That being said, important to note, I am playing on nation difficulty. So maybe I have more flexibility than I think. Still, in this particular playthrough, needing extra shitties. I guess walls could be a reasonable deterrent. Trade as well, right? Constant trade. If I keep them alive, I can trade with them. Woohoo! Get their resources straight away. Yes! Run the risk that they turn up with giant death robots. Ooh. I like the Southeast Asia start. I don't know if it's the best one, but I like it. I think I'll run with it. See how we go. Gives me some relative safety, which is nice. Gives me a new world to harness, which is very nice. And then I could just focus on destroying a couple of nearby neighbors. Say 1, 2, 3. And then shoring up a defensive line and saying, this is my hold. Maybe not necessarily going for either total domination or total isolation, but maybe the true answer lies somewhere in between.
I must ask my
Yes, thank you, Hoff. That is true. If you want to know all about the challenge, there is the information in the description if you'd like to read it. Or if you'd like to hear about it and watch me sort of demonstrate it a little bit, my video that came out today is me talking through it. So you can also experience it that way. Yeah, Bantu.
This will be a blessing for all
Oh god,
parties.
you're awful. That was still in the ancient era. Ah, neat. See, look at Asura now. Asura's stable again. And so what I could do here, instead of building units and going to fight people and getting a crappy city cap, is I could now go in phase 2, find a good spot for these industrial quarters, try and get... I mean, there should really be some around here, but in an ideal world, get more districts adjacent to that, which is a commons quarter, nice. And just kind of lather, rinse, and repeat. Sort of an orange/pink glow across it is likely what it'll end up being. We're keeping pace, but naturally someone is emerging over the other side of the world as a great power, probably. It's just going to happen because I'm too far away. And on Blitz mode, actually, another important consideration. On Blitz mode, it might actually literally be impossible to get to the other people before they tick up beyond my wildest dreams. Makes me more inclined to focus in on at home, actually. If I can get lots of city caps in particular out of my civics, we'll ignore them in the cultural realm. I don't think we need those. Keep chopping down trees. We don't need two people chopping down the same tree. Come on, what are you doing? And move through. Yeah. Yeah, baby! There's a relationship between pollution and faith. Faith from pollution yield. Odd. Ooh, this place is... You're so crappy. Why are you so crappy? I think it's fine because it has land raiser, so it just sort of... It'll fluctuate a lot, probably, because I'm building a lot of districts in a turn, particularly where people are chopping down trees. It could be very easy for stability to just go woo out the window, and then woo, fly back in. Yeah, okay, that's cool. I think we've done enough playtesting here. We've tested through the cultures. Feeling pretty happy with that. Experimenting with the start has been pretty cool. I will just peer back into this one, because Huck raises a good point. Anyone else have any anything they remember about the other starts? as I think through it, kind of think probably doesn't really matter too much, really. Southeast Asia start was juicy because it provided a lot of forests and a lot of mountains, which gives us the flexibility to take Joe if we want it, and it makes a really good Joe. This start, which is the Europe one, let's just like... Oh, why did they all move? Remind me later. I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's just send them out far and wide, see what this looks like. Stop it! God! Seriously! I know it's entirely me doing it. I apologize.
Just because a culture died out doesn't mean it wasn't worthy of study.
None of this matters. I'm assuming... yeah, so there's your wonder. Wow. Hey, that is pretty cool, actually. +3 industry? Nah. Here's the start. It's workable for a Joe. Not as good, it's gotta be said. Not sure why I'm painting out Europe. You could probably just open an atlas and see this.
A first outpost means a first step into a new territory and a new extension of your empire's power.
But there we go. This is kind of the rough ballpark of what we'd be dealing with. The punishment civics. Punishment civics require less than 30 stability empire-wide to trigger. That is something I'll be able to trigger. That's super important, by the way. Less than 30% stability. So basically, I have to force myself to to nearly revolt in order to unlock the civics that will allow me to reduce the penalty of revolution. In a nutshell. We can do that, as demonstrated in that last save. It's very easy for me to fall behind on stability. I'll need a couple of units to manage any risks. Just build districts. Yeah, just build a shite. Just build a f***ing shite load of districts. I think the luxuries are fixed, Huck. Yeah, I think so. And then just prevent empire-wide revolution and never worry about stability ever again. Oh, you know, it's press freedom. It's press freedom that is... It's press freedom. Yeah. Ugh. I wonder if I have a save file that has these unlocked. I probably don't, because I'm an idiot. Let me have a look. Let's see. One of these will be an end game. No vanilla cultures, pre-Muggle Swahili, Endless 2, continue or keep Prob Not Texas, just had war, influence stream only. That one could actually have it. Strategy weekend. Livestream goth next. Investigations for the worst era. My god, why? Yeah. Early modern era tier list. I'm just gonna, just very quickly peer into this one. Ah, it's got a... Ah! You know what? I'll have a look on the wiki, on the thing that we shared on the Discord, and figure out that in my own time. That's a me problem. Okay. Needs City Watch. Have to wait until the classical era to trigger it. Punishment includes one that gives +5 industry on Maker's Quarters. Right, so I can kind of... So I can leverage a whole lot of extra yield out of punishment, which I think I'll probably still do, but it's press freedom that I need to negate the impacts of stability. And that's going to be so important. So I really need to focus on getting that one. Choose physical punishment and then hard labor. Good to note. Is to hard labor. All right. Okay. How did I bleep live? It's thanks to my new audio setup. I've got an XLR microphone now, not a USB one, so I can control the audio before it is processed rather than after. Because I can control it before, I can, thanks to this wonderful little device next to me, which has a lot of buttons on it, press little buttons and do f***ing stupid shit live. It's incredible. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to have to wrap this up here. I got to go, unfortunately, as much as I would love to continue to theory craft with you and strategize with you live. I can't do that today. However, we do have a members Discord. If you're in the members Discord and you think of any insights that we haven't discussed, or there's something that I've grossly under or overestimated, I would love to hear it. So do slam it in there. I think we've got a pretty good idea about our cultures. I've got my first pick and my backup if the AI steals my first pick. For basically every era, except for the later ones, but I feel like that will come naturally as I play through the challenge, i.e. after the industrial era. So I'm not too worried about those. I probably won't spend too much time on them. However, if you do have suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Anyway, the point is, I think we've got a pretty good game plan. We've decided on what start we'd like to see me take. We've broadly decided on the cultures that I'll be playing. And we have a couple of trump cards up our sleeve. In the form of civics, basically. I think we should hang around as long as we can and then hope that an AI doesn't declare war on me, basically. Oh, Shadowrun, welcome to the JumboPixels. Thank you so much. That's wicked. Right at the end of the stream. Amazing. So, the plan ahead, I won't be streaming this time tomorrow, but the day after, which will be Tuesday night, Greenwich Mean Time, Tuesday afternoon for you Americans, Wednesday morning if you're a New Zealander or Australian, will be when I start my attempt. It could run over 2 streams, probably. I feel like even though it's on Blitz mode, the turns are quite precious and quite careful. But at the very least, we'll be kicking it off then. So I guess I'll see you then. The only thing that I'm still grappling with in the back of my mind is what Pete's just pointed out. Do I build and conquer as many cities as possible? Do I just forego influence and stability altogether? I don't think so, but I think there is a balance that will need to be taken. And I do agree the more the merrier is probably better. But I don't want to have no influence and be stuck without key civics or wonders. It's going to be an interesting one. It's very easy to go down a mental rabbit hole as well. So I just have to be careful to just bring it up to the higher level and really think about the key things that I need to achieve. A reminder, the ultimate challenge is once I cross over into the industrial era, that's when the timer begins, and I have to try and burn the world in as few turns as possible. Civic's religious tenet is therefore crucial. Yes. Yes. Good. All right. Thank you for joining me for this wonderful draft theory crafting session. Thank you to Huck and Terentius for their very generous super chats that came through earlier in the stream. Jared Smart as well, dropping the love on Twitch. I appreciate you. And Devilish and Barots, you also super chatted at the start. Thank you across the board, though, to all of you. To Pete, to Huck, to our wonderful moderators, to Let Lucky, to Tink, to everybody who's been playtesting and theory crafting with me. My God, I appreciate it. I feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. But at the very least, we're going to give this a damn good go. Thank you for joining me. I have a document that Huck has shared with me, which will be my cheat sheet to go alongside my poorly scrawled handwritten notes next to me. We'll continue to theory craft on the Discord. If you'd like to be there, I will be monitoring that like my life depends on it. Like my self-respect depends on it. Oh, yeah. And until Tuesday, your time. Yes, until Tuesday, take care. I'm already nervous. I'll see you on Tuesday for the actual beginning of the real attempt. Thank you for sharing your kindness, your generosity, and your knowledge. And I'll see you then. Take care.